Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
And one must be sober for a month.
Must one work out every day? Isn't that part of it too?
Must one work out every day.
Yeah.
One must work out. One must burn 500 calories in a workout every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days. Well, 60.
What
30.
happened? 30 days.
I'm already expanding.
So, is there a contest about who can burn the most calories?
We're not doing that because we go crazy.
Yeah.
The problem with contests is they absorb your whole life.
Yeah.
And everybody except Ari has a family and obligations and jobs and podcasts and different things they have to do. Just we did it 1 year, the contest, and it was pretty obvious halfway in that we were fucked.
I remember you got behind and then you just powered through and came from behind with like some crazy workouts.
Well, I was never really behind. I mean, I might have been behind for like a day. It was in the beginning we were trying to figure out how much we were going to burn, you know, because we were using this My Zones thing. So it's like you wear a chest strap, and the chest strap gives you points with the application for however many minutes you are at 80% of your max heart rate versus 90% of your max heart rate. I think 90's 2 points, 80's 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And Ari figured out that you could watch TV while you were doing cardio. So he watched movies on an iPad while he was doing cardio.
Yeah.
And he ran up a big number, like 400 in a day. We were like, fuck. That's a big number. That was like 2 movies.
Yeah.
And so then we really started getting crazy. And then one day I did 1,100 points. I did 7 hours of cardio.
No shit.
Yeah.
Mostly what, running?
No, mostly elliptical machine because you could watch movies.
Yeah.
So I watched John Wick like 50 times. I kept rewinding it to the scene in the bathhouse where he kills everybody. It's just because it's so adrenaline filled, you can keep going.
Yeah.
I watched some fights. I watched a bunch of shit, and it's like it just got too crazy.
Yeah.
We were losing our minds.
All right.
We were really losing our minds. We were talking a lot of shit to each other. And Tom got sick. Tom got the flu, and then the day he got better from the flu, he ran 13 miles.
No shit.
The day he got better, he ran 13 miles through his neighborhood, through the hills.
Damn. That's
Yeah,
different than a treadmill. 13 miles on the street is like...
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we went crazy.
Yeah.
And like if that kept going, imagine if we had it for like 6 months. We had a fitness contest for 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, you win like $1 million.
Yeah. You could have got a sponsor for that.
Easy.
Yeah.
The problem is it would become your whole life.
Right.
We would go crazy.
All right.
And Bert would die. Bert would for sure have a heart attack. Or he would
Yeah.
just be content coming in last like he did last time. He talked a lot of shit and came in last.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a great idea for your like for me, working out is just for my head. I don't even give a shit. I mean, this body I was naturally born with. It's a gift.
Congratulations.
But my brain, if I work out, man, I just feel happy, and if I don't, I get depressed.
So one of the things we talked about, Tom and I talked about specifically, was that when you do a lot of cardio in a day, like 4 hours of cardio in a day, he goes, all the internal chatter just goes away.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, there's no negative talk. Yeah. There's no like anxiety and angst. And I really wonder how much of that people walk around with all day could be fixed with cardio. It could be fixed with like rigorous exercise. You know, and they say weightlifting helps anxiety too. They say strength training does. But for me, it's like cardio. Cardio seems to put me in this place where it just is like, whatever, who gives a fuck? It's just like just a really peaceful, it like balances out what's really important to think about and worry about versus like things that are just sort of bouncing around your head. You don't know if I should pay attention to that one or that one. And like, what should I freak out about the most?
Yeah.
Like every time I watch the news, every time I look at the news, I'm like, how engaged do I get here? Do I freak out about Russia? Am I going to freak out and then my whole day will be a freak out?
Yeah.
Or do I recognize that there's not a goddamn thing I can do about this and just casually be aware of it and hope it doesn't explode. Mm-hmm. That's the dilemma. Like basically every day.
Yeah.
With wild shit like the Russia-Ukraine war, most of the time I look at the news, I'm like, how much am I going to engage with this?
Yeah. And not just the news, but like everything in your life. I have to do it when I listen. I listen to books about the Civil War because I listen to audiobooks when I go to sleep at night. It's the only way I can sleep. I try to find the dullest nonfiction available with like a good British author, and it just puts me right to sleep. So I've probably listened to 50 nonfiction books in the last 5-10 years.
Do you
I
fall
can't
asleep
remember
with the
any of it.
headphones on?
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
It
like,
is.
Do you have dreams? And then
No. I set a timer. It goes off after 45 minutes.
If you got some guy talking to you about some guy bleeding out from a musket wound in the woods, who got shot by his own cousin because they're on the wrong side of the Mississippi.
Right, dude. The one I just listened to was about Jesse James. It was pretty badass. Jesse James was born in Missouri. And Missouri during the Civil War. When you picture the Civil War, you picture like there was the Confederate States and there was the Union States, and they fought. No. Missouri, this family was Confederate, this one was Unionist. They would just go kill each other. It was random.
God.
And there was marauding packs of guys like Jesse James. It was the Jesse James gang. It was him and his brother Frank and these other guys, and they had like the press kind of like made heroes of them because they said that they were like Robin Hood. They were given to the poor because, they gave a couple widows some money, but they mostly kept they killed fucking thousands of people and kept all the money.
Did you ever read any Malcolm Gladwell?
Yeah.
You read that thing that Malcolm Gladwell talked about with like the honor societies that lived in like Appalachia? And how many of them were involved in feuds that led to like mass murders?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. But the psychology behind it's the most fascinating thing. He was saying that these people they emigrated from a part of the world where they were herders, like they herded animals. And when you herded animals, you had a very different reaction to transgressions than someone who, like, say, was a farmer. Because someone couldn't steal your farm.
Yeah.
But they could steal your animals.
Right.
So you had to be violent in your defense of your property.
Yeah.
Because it could be gathered up by somebody else. So you had to constantly be vigilant, and you had to be very wary of intruders because people did that all the time.
Yeah.
When they come in, they would steal all your sheep. So when they came over to America, they carried that ethic about conflict. They were to the death. They would go to the death. They would come for you. And that's just the way they lived. Like if you stole from them, they would kill you. If you insulted them, they would kill you. And they were all living in the Appalachians.
Wow.
So these folks were just like, if you think about that part of the world, like why is it so uniquely violent?
Yeah.
Well, it's because those
And
people,
clannish.
yeah,
Yeah.
they emanated from this population of people that grew up having to defend their animals. It completely makes sense. If you
What were
think
they
about
like?
it.
Scottish mostly?
That's a good question. Well,
I think they were Irish and Scottish.
which also makes sense. Wild ass drunks.
Yep.
Constantly involved in fights. A long history of warfare.
Yep.
Those are wild people, man. Wild fucking
Right.
people. You think about the people that are there are the descendants of people who've lived there thousands of years. Like, that's what's so crazy about Europe as opposed to America. If you're not a Native American tribes person who's on your family's land, and it's been that land for hundreds of years, you're fucking, everyone's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if you're living in Scotland, there's a good chance that someone 400 years ago from your family also lived in Scotland.
Right.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
To the point, we were talking about this the other day. When is there going to be, like, I don't know how this works, but I know that when they do a genetic test, they can find out some of your family's from Eastern Europe. You have this percentage of Eastern Europe genes, this percentage of genes from Asia. And they can do that with like a 23andMe, right?
Right.
At what point in time is there an American gene? At what point in time, like how many generations do we have to stay in this one spot? Or is it just such a constant melting pot with people constantly moving into here that it never will be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it possible that people could say, oh, your ancestors came from America?
Yeah.
Is that even possible?
That is funny because I'll ask people in the audience, like, what's your ethnicity? And they say white. And I just look at them going like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And there'll be like a black person sitting right next to them and they'll be like, white! I'm white! It's fucking great!
What's your ethnicity?
And so...
You can't, white is not an ethnicity, right? Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
It's kind of odd that Latino is an ethnicity. African American is an ethnicity.
Yeah.
Asian is an ethnicity. But that's not like being white. Like if you say German is just white, right? Irish is just white. You're just a white guy.
Well, you would say probably Saxon
Who the fuck would say Saxon? I'd be like, get out of my office.
Tad with the whale belt and the shirt tucked in.
Well,
would
my
say he's
ancestry is
Saxon.
Saxon.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of his office.
Right. Well, mine, I guess a lot of the Irish are Normans. The Norman invasions that were in like the 11th century or something came over. And so like Fitzsimmons, the name Fitzsimmons literally means bastard son of. Anytime you hear Fitz, that means bastard son of.
Whoa.
So originally it was Simmons, which was like wherever the Normans came from. I guess that would be the French area or north. And so they would come in and they would steal a parcel of land from the Irish and they would say, Simmons, this is yours now. Now you're Fitzsimmons.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm a bastard.
Wow. Remember Greg Fitzgerald?
No, Dave Fitzgerald.
Dave Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
That's right, Dave Fitzgerald.
Dave Fitzgerald was a good comic.
Dave Fitzgerald was one of the first guys that I ever saw that went straight from the Alcoholics Anonymous program to stand-up.
Yeah.
Because AA, for a lot of guys, acted like as an open mic.
Yeah.
Like Dick Doherty got through comedy from AA.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys did.
Yeah, the AA rooms launched many careers. I would name names, but it's like literally the last thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
I was just about to
Dave
name
used to talk
three other
about
people.
it on stage.
Yeah. He would talk about it.
And also, he's
he's
not
dead.
with us anymore.
Yeah.
He was a funny guy.
Yeah.
That was a bummer.
He
man.
used to get standing O's as the feature act. How do you like to follow that fucking guy?
He was solid. And
he had that voice.
Yeah, he was very, like, great comedic timing, really wrote hard, was a real good writer.
Yeah. I think it was a postal worker, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
Because a lot of those Boston comics, like, they had good civil service jobs.
Yeah.
And then they would do stand-up at night. And they'd be driving up to Maine with us on a Tuesday night, making $75, and then they'd have to get up the next morning and do their real job.
Well, the thing about Boston is, like, if you're a bum, they make you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like, people up there work.
Yeah.
They fucking work.
Right.
And so if you're going to just become a comic and you're going to quit your job at the post office, you know how hard your uncle worked to get you that job at the post office?
Exactly.
How many strings he had to pull?
Yeah.
And then you're in, but you don't want to be in. You want to be on the road. So you're off in Maine for $75?
Yeah, you get one shot at the union. Once you're in, you're in. Once you're out, you're out. That's it.
Yeah, and if you leave, boy, people will be mad at you because that is a good fucking job. And you get good benefits.
Yep.
You get, like, increased pay every year.
Dude, unions bring a lot of happiness and security. You know,
They definitely do.
The unions have got some problems, but they have to work out the problems because the business model of a union is solid.
Everything with people has problems.
Yeah.
Everything with people. And everything with people where people can get into a position of power and control other people and decide, like, what other people can and can't do. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's where unions are strong. I mean, it's like you don't want just money running everything. Because eventually money's going to go, why are we paying you this much? We can pay you less.
Yeah.
You know what? If we just move our shit over to cross this river over here, we can get people to work for $1 an hour. Did you know that? Yeah. It'll cost us this amount of money to move our plant over there, but we'll get these people over there to work. They work for almost nothing. And that's what's really happening right now.
Yeah.
It's because money became more important. It's like, is there enough money? Like, are you making enough money? If you're doing well, like if you're the head of a corporation, you're doing well, what is this constant need to make more money next year? Do you know
Yeah.
how insane that is?
I know.
That's so insane that they always have to continue to make more money. And that's
Yeah.
like the ethic of the corporation. That's the whole reason to have a corporation.
Right.
You have a duty to your shareholders.
Yep.
You're supposed to make more money.
Every quarter has to be more. There can't be a quarter where you go, "Hey, we're rebuilding."
Yeah.
You know, it's like the the
No,
fall,
no,
the
no.
winter, the spring, the seasons. No.
Fuck you, pay me.
Fuck you, pay me. Every quarter is a summer. There's no winter.
Yeah. No winter. Fuck you, pay me. Fuck you, pay me. It's
Yeah.
crazy that that's how medicine is run.
Yeah.
That's what sells medicine.
Right.
That's what sells everything. That's what sells cars. That's what's convincing you to get a new cell phone. I got
That's
a
why
new
it's
phone.
funny when somebody like you gets rich, because you don't have the inclination to go, well, now I need twice as much of that. Instead of that, like, I got to thank you. Like, I did 2 shows for you this week at the thing, and you handed me some money, and I got home and I looked at it, I was like, oh, Joe's ethos is, I got lucky. Not lucky, you earned it, but you also there was the luck of being in an industry of podcasting,
I got
which
a lot of
fucking
luck.
exploded.
Yeah, I got a
as
lot
you
of
were
luck.
the guy that was working the hardest and being the best at it. But because of that, you've decided to open a comedy club that I know you're not going to make a lot of money in, but you're going to do it because it's a great building developmental experience for young comics. It's a place that it'll be a place of community. It'll be a place where you can hang with your boys. You know,
Exactly.
and it's not about the money. And that's what and it's so rare that somebody comes into money like you did and actually just enjoys it and uses it for good.
It's a trick. You can get sucked into it, and they'll start thinking that it's the only thing. It'll
Yeah.
start talking to you like, this is all you need, Greg.
Yeah.
You just need me. Make more and more of me. And concentrate on me, and you'll have more of me. Wouldn't you like a yacht, Greg? Wouldn't you like a yacht?
Oh, look,
You know?
another zero.
Ooh, more is it? There's a man ahead of you in the line?
Yeah.
Who has more money? We need to figure out a way to beat that man. And
That man is weaker than you.
with comedy, man, like the thing about it that I enjoyed the most is like the camaraderie and the fun and the new material and the putting on the good shows and having a good time with everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is something that I feel like when I moved here, I'm like, I want to invest in that. Not just like invest in it in the sense of like do it all the time and do a lot of shows with my friends like you guys last night, and you know we're gonna do Atlanta this weekend, like just, but also like to set a place where it's like encouraged, supported, and then you know that if you there's a clear path now. It used to be you had to get a guy to help you go on the road. And, you know, maybe if you did well at the club, they'd have you back to feature, and you ground it out for as many years as you could, and you try to get TV credits. And some guys got TV credits before they really could headline, like me. I had TV credits before I could headline, so I was headlining like terrible,
Yeah.
doing a bad job, like, 'cause I really didn't have 45 solid minutes. But now, with all these podcasts, particularly like with Kill Tony and all these other comedy podcasts, like if you're in the group of people and everybody talks about you and we're all having fun, we're doing shows together, you just get entered into the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Then you get featured on podcast, and then you get whatever it is on Netflix. It's, as long as you're funny. Like the whole thing is just being funny.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Right.
And once it's there, what my goal is to make it seem more obvious how you go from there to being a professional. And then having it in a way where you're autonomous. So you have your own podcast. Because if you're autonomous, then you don't have to worry about not getting cast in this thing because you had a joke about that thing. You know, because that holds people back.
Yeah,
They
right.
start and you start saying woke shit. Like I know people that are like regular folks that will say woke shit either on stage or on Twitter because they want to affirm that they're in a part of this group of people that will continue to work in Hollywood. So they'll say things. So it's like, man, why are you saying that? Like it's such an obvious thing to say.
Yeah.
You know, like you're saying this nonsensical, fucking silly virtue signaling shit that everybody else says, but I know you're only doing it because you want to stay inside this group of people.
Yeah, and if your morality or your politics lines up with that type of thinking, do a joke that shows it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Don't state it. And it's like,
And they're stating something that's obvious, like
Yeah.
racism is bad.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
it's so corny.
right. There's great
know?
ways to do jokes that show that racism is bad without ever having to,
Yes.
put a fucking light on it.
But it's just like this thing that happens when people get scared. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of attacking going on where people, they go to teams. They get into this pattern and habit of joining teams. And if you're in Team Hollywood, there's one way to decide about things. It's the most progressive, most left-wing, most inclusive, most this, most that. Poll it. Poll it with young people. Whatever kids in college think is the most important, that's what they're going to talk about. And if you don't do that, you're fucked.
And what's funny about it is that's not how most people think.
No, it's not.
I mean, we go to clubs in the Midwest. We're going to Atlanta this weekend. It's like you go there, people aren't far right and they're not far left. They're far in their garage. They're far
Yes.
trying to get laid. They're far
Yes.
trying to just get a raise.
Yes, they want to go out with their friends and have fun. They want to have a fun night on the town. They want to fucking do sports. They want to do shit that they like to do. Most people don't give a fuck about most of these issues that everybody's freaking out about.
That's funny. Sports is free of politics in that sense. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a team that you would. Well,
But
I
even
guess
when
you would.
Tom Brady was a giant Trump supporter and people still loved him because
Yeah.
he was just a bad motherfucker.
Right.
Even lefties who were football fans.
Yeah.
If he was throwing for Tampa Bay, you were fucking pumped.
Right.
You know,
right.
that's Tom motherfucking Brady, bitch. Who cares who he's friends with?
Yeah.
Because he's that good.
Yeah.
It's like when Michael Jackson music comes on. You know he might have been a pedophile, but it's like, damn, they still play it.
Although not for Colin Kaepernick. I mean, there's an argument that he got driven out for his politics.
Well, that I don't. I mean, is that how was his performance? I don't know enough about football.
I mean,
to
he was
comment on
considered a first-rate starting quarterback.
that. And so they stopped using him because of his protests.
I mean, it's questionable. I mean, obviously, it's quantifiable to some degree. I mean, you can look at a quarterback's rating and stuff like that. And I
That's
think
interesting. But if he was the best, if he was the LeBron James of quarterbacks, if he was just like this undeniable motherfucker of motherfucker
Yeah.
quarterbacks, I bet he would have got away with it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
He was on the bubble. He was not. Yeah, he was not an
not the
elite
best of the
quarterback.
best.
He's not elite
That's a wild thing to be good at, man.
quarterback.
Yeah, Aaron
Fuck
Rodgers.
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is a buddy of mine. Who's
Oh, yeah?
a very, very smart guy. Like shockingly smart and peaceful and like at ease.
Uh-huh.
And like very in the moment guy. Very interesting guy. Intense guy too. But he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Sure.
And that dude is just like he's so present. It's very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Very interesting. Because that job, man, you got super athletes running at you full clip trying to take you out, and you're throwing a ball at people.
And you're a
this-
supercomputer.
Yes.
You've got thousands of configurations of plays in your
Yeah.
head that you're communicating to 10 other guys in the 10 seconds you have in that huddle.
Yeah.
And then you have a choices. You got scenario A, scenario B, scenario C, scenario D, and you're
Yeah.
scanning all of it like a supercomputer while fucking 280-pound guys are running at you.
And you have to have like laser pinpoint precision with a spiraling ball.
Yeah.
It's a wild way to make a living.
Yeah. I can see it being addictive. Like, I can see why Tom Brady left and came back.
I can see it easily. I mean, I don't know what's going on. You read these stories in the news, you don't know how much of it is horseshit. But I'm
Brett Favre is
fascinated.
in deep shit.
Yeah, what did he do? Just like a welfare fraud thing?
Yeah, he was friends with the governor of, I don't know which governor it was. What's that?
Mississippi, I think.
Yeah, Mississippi, because he went to Mississippi, Southern Mississippi University or some college, and his daughter's going there, and she's a volleyball player, and they needed a new gym or like a stadium for volleyball games, and so he talked to the governor, and they arranged to siphon money out of a fund that was like a welfare fund meant to feed poor people. And they took like $6 million out of it and built a stadium. And there's a whole text chain, just, I mean, plain as day. He even says at one point, like, is there any chance we're going to get caught for doing this?
Oh, boy.
And the governor's like, nah, don't worry about it. We're good.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I mean, you think about a guy like that. What is he making? $20 million a year? If you want a fucking volleyball stadium for your kid, you got that money. You got it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And he had a legacy,
That's like a jailable offense, isn't it?
I
mean, is that one of those? I mean, that seems like one of those ones that wouldn't just be a fine.
It seems like it.
If you're stealing from welfare,
Yeah.
like that's the kind of stuff people go away for, right?
Well, especially because one of the millions of dollars went directly to him. Yeah. So it's like some of it went to the school and one of the millions went directly to him.
And he's already so wealthy.
Yeah.
Imagine how much money he would pay to not have that happen.
He'd pay half his money.
Yeah, if like this scandal was about to go down right now and people found out, like, how much would you pay to not have that happen?
Yeah.
Definitely be more than $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
He'd probably give you like $2 million. Shut the fuck up.
Well, he's probably worth 30 or 40 million. He'd probably give you half of that to not tarnish the reputation.
Forever. And not only that, but might wind up in jail.
Yeah.
There's a problem that needs to be addressed whenever it comes to football players, fighters, combat sports athletes, is that people with CTE oftentimes have very poor decision making. It's very complex because everybody's version and severity of CTE is different. But one of the side effects of having too many concussions is you become very impulsive. And you start doing risky things, risky behaviors. Sometimes people get addicted to substances and gambling and a lot of wild shit. And it comes from, like, your brain being rattled. Like, it's just not working right. Like, you have all sorts of impulse control.
Makes sense.
So I think risky things like this might have been exciting. Like, you should have obviously morally known that's not the thing to do. But there's something, I think, for guys that have been hit in the head too many times, like risky things, like, they would just want. Yeah. If you're a guy and you got all your jollies out of playing football, I mean, you got all your jollies out of being this badass fucking quarterback or some badass running back, and the amount of excitement on Super Bowl day must be unfathomable to us mere mortals.
Yeah.
To us mere mortals, the excitement of being on that field and knowing that millions of people are going to be watching around the world. Millions. And there's 50, 60,000 people in that place screaming their fucking heads off. And you're playing football at the highest level of the world. Fuck, man. You want a guy like that to just go back to normal life after he's been hit in the head 50 times?
Hey, I got my own mower now.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That guy is going to start gambling, going to whorehouses, and snorting coke, and punching traffic attendants. Look, he's fucking bored out of his mind.
Look at Lenny Dykstra, man. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
How about fighters,
I mean, think about how excited you are to go to a Super Bowl. Think about the excitement level that person has, and now you're the guy in the center of it. And you got the possibility, if you win, of making an extra $1 million in your bonus or whatever else. There's so many factors going into that.
Yeah. It's there's a lot going on, and it's retiring from that is got to be incredibly difficult. And that pales in comparison to someone who they ship overseas to fight in war and then bring them back to America and then just say, all right, you're done. Just go be normal now.
Also with the head injuries.
Yeah, would you have 100 combat engagements with the enemy? How many times did you have to shoot people? And then you come back over here and you're supposed to be normal. And when I talk to guys that have served and experienced combat duty and then come over here, I'm like, well, how much counseling do you get? It's very little.
Yeah.
Very little guidance. Reach out if you need help. There's numbers you can call. But at the end of the day, it's like that's a complex transition to go from literal war, actual war, like shooting guns at enemy. They're shooting guns at you. You're in a foreign land. You're going through mountains. People are yelling things in languages you don't know, and you're hearing guns going off. And you might die today, or your friends might die today. But for sure, people are going to die.
And also, part of your training, a big part of your training is to not feel.
Yeah.
And so now you're coming back and you're being asked, hey, talk to us. Let us know how you're feeling. And it's like, well,
Good to go, sir.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they found that with trauma, with PTSD with soldiers, they found a thing called EMDR, which is a way of doing therapy that doesn't involve talk. I mean, you talk, but it's not about recognizing feelings. It's about they give you. It started with you remember watch this. The shrink would take the watch and go back and forth with it. It's about connecting the two different sides of your brain together.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
No.
I have.
Really?
Yeah. My friend Vinny Shorman put me under. He does hypnosis for a lot of fighters. He's like a mind coach for fighters. He's a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
And he explained to me what it was. Like, all right, let's give it a shot. So on my old studio, I lay down on the couch, and he talked me through this. I forget exactly how he did it, but we went through this thing. You're going to be relaxed, this and that. And next thing you know, I was in a state of mind. I was like, this is really fascinating. It's it's almost like you have access with someone else. When someone helps you and guides you, you have access to a state of mind that you don't achieve independently, or I didn't know how to achieve independently. But it's an unusual state of mind. It's a very real thing. So when I got hypnotized, I was realizing as it was happening, this is interesting because this is a very real thing. So it was almost like you're on a drug. It's like this drug that puts you in a different spot. Let me unscrew you from your life. I'm going to put you over here and now look at your life. And I was like, wow. I was like, oh, this is a real way of doing. And then someone can talk to you logically, and they can explain things to you and would make sense. I think everybody's afraid they would wake up with no pants on and what happened, but I don't think it works like that.
It's all of a sudden you're singing Madonna with no shirt on in front of a comedy club audience. Yeah.
That was amazing, though. We used to watch
Frank Santos.
Frank Santos, yeah. R-rated hypnotist from Rhode Island. He was amazing.
His son does it now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this guy would literally get, but just to stay on that, so what did he walk you through? Did you have an epiphany? How similar is it to doing mushrooms or something like that?
It's like a kind of a drug, maybe a little bit, but doesn't feel scary. It just feels relaxed, and it just you have some additional clarity. But it does feel like with someone's guidance, you're allowed to escape from your mind and from your life in a weird way. I feel like that's what it is. When someone's talking you through it, it's like there's a thing about someone, you're letting someone guide your brain. And this is what I said about comedy before, too. When someone's killing on stage, when Joey Diaz is killing on stage, I'm thinking the way he's thinking. That's why it's so fun. It's because I'm not really calculating anything. I'm letting him control my brain. I'm letting him and his material take me for a ride. And that's what a hypnotist is doing. It's you're letting them take you for this ride of peaceful, introspective thinking and clarity on your life. That's how it felt to me. I was like, so this is a mindset that can be achieved this way. I mean, maybe it could be achieved by yourself. I don't know how to do it, but I don't know much about achieving psychedelic states through breathing. I really haven't tried much other than some yoga breathing exercises that make you feel a little high. But people people trip balls from breathing exercises.
Oh yeah. Well, Annie Letterman's got some hypnotist that does finances that helps you deal, because money is everything. They'd say psychologically, it's a great place to start. When you come into a shrink and you negotiate the price you're going to pay them, that's the first step of your therapy, because they can tell so much about you by your relationship to money, how much you hold on to it, how much it scares you. And so she's got this therapist that she's worked with that she says is amazing, that puts her under. And then she said she's made a lot of money since she started working with her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the therapist is a capitalist.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, I would imagine if you are tripping yourself up less, you'll make more money. Mm-hmm. If you're not getting in your own way. Because one of the things you find about talented people that get freaked out by success is that they'll start to sabotage. They'll start to fuck things up. They'll, show up, miss a flight. They'll do, they start getting a little crazy. And it's just because it's the fear of fucking up once you've already started becoming successful, and people start becoming self-saboteurs.
Drugs.
If you just stop that from happening, you would just naturally have an escalation in your career. If you're good and you're getting better, you'll continue to get better. If you keep working, you keep showing discipline, you keep having new material, you'll be fine. But along the way, it's the getting in your own way stuff that fucks people up. And if your therapist could just pull that out, stop getting in your own way, just that alone, you'd make more money.
I think it also has to do with, like my father said to me when I was growing up, we're talking about how successful some people get. And he said, everybody is at the level that they think they should be at.
Huh.
And so you can start to become successful and get scared and go, I don't belong up there.
Right.
And so you have to somehow reframe where you see yourself ending up.
Yeah, or not think about it at all like I do.
Yeah.
Just don't think about it. I think too many people think too much about like where they want to be. I just think you should think about being better at what you do. I think being better at what you do is a real thing, because being where you want to be, you never feel like you're there. Trust me. No matter where you go, you always want more. It just never ends. The only thing that makes sense to me is concentrating on being better at what you do. So for me, it's like the things that I concentrate the most is like stand-up and podcasts. And then with the UFC commentary, man, that job is like, I'm just lucky to be a professional fan. So all I have to do is just like know who's fighting, what their styles are like, and the thing is playing out. I mean, I have very little to do with the thing, you know. So it's that job is just like a beautiful, being a fan reaction job. But like for podcasts and comedy, if I started thinking about like goals where I want to be in 4 years and this and that, then I'd be thinking about that instead of thinking about new material. Or I'd be thinking about that instead of thinking about like, I want like to be stimulated by this kind of guest. I want to talk to this guy about this subject. Like I'm watching this documentary and maybe I can get him to expand on that and explain it to me. Like that's the only way it's good to me. Like, and that's the only reason why I think it's good, period. Why it works. Because I don't think about it.
Every time I've been frustrated with where I'm at career-wise, I write some new shit, I go to the club, I do it, and all of a sudden something happens.
Yes.
It's not necessarily like there's some talent agent with a cigar in the back going, this kid's a star. It's just more of an energy that you're putting out because you're just like, your juices are flowing and your confidence is up because you're realizing what you're capable of.
You just have to overcome resistance. And that's one of the terms that Stephen Pressfield uses in The War of Art. The War of Art, not to be confused with The Art of War.
Oh, yeah, you gave me that
art.
book once.
Yeah, and he talks about resistance, and the resistance is the thing that keeps you from writing. The resistance is the thing that keeps you from doing those sets that you know you should go do. You know, oh, man, it's Tuesday night. I want to go out. Go do that set. Do it. You need to do it. And then write. And then the universe will reward you. Like that feeling of resistance, the feeling that you get when you write something new that you know is going to be funny is one of the best feelings ever. It's so good. You're like, oh shit, I got one. It's like I caught a fish through the ice, you know?
It's like getting laid.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so then you know that you were rewarded for overcoming that resistance. But so often you just want to like jerk off or watch a movie or eat a pizza or play a video game. But if you could just force yourself to sit in front of that fucking computer. Whenever I do, I come up with something, a punchline, a tagline, a new premise, something. If I could sit there for 2 hours, just 2 hours, just drink some coffee, smoke a little weed, and just sit there for 2 hours, something's going to happen, man.
That's what's amazing. When I look at people that, like you, Bill Burr, people that really, Louis C.K., people that really create at a high level, like it is the ability to not eat that pizza or play that video game. And there's something in most people that can't resist that. And it goes back, I can remember being in college and having a fucking term paper due and instead going out for a beer or jerking off or whatever. And, you know, and I'm like, you know, it's, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's completely innate or if that's something you can build on.
You can build on it. 100% you can build on it. Everybody it's like what you were saying before about being as wealthy or successful rather as you think you should be. You know, that everyone is as successful as they think they should be eventually. I think it's similar to that. I think you just decide that you're this person that fucks things up and you continue to fuck things up because that's your past. It's like one thing I've said before that I had to learn very early on because when I was a kid, I got bullied a lot, and I was kind of very timid and worried about people kicking my ass because we moved around a lot. And then I became a martial artist. And then in the process of becoming a martial artist, I realized I would still get nervous when I was around people who bullied me before when I was younger. Like I didn't feel like I should have been just like, hey, fuckface, but I was still nervous around them, even though I knew I could kill them. I was still nervous around them because I programmed myself to feel like a loser when I was in this town, when I was around these people, when I was in like a certain, like I had like a triggered memory. And I was like, oh, and it made me realize like you can decide you are your worst failures, or you can decide that you're you right now. Like all that, don't hold on to that. That's a valuable lesson. It sucked when someone kicked your ass or when you fell on your ass and looked like a fucking loser in front of everybody. But those moments are very important for who you are right now. But it doesn't mean you're still that person. Some people are never separate from their worst memories. The biggest mistakes, getting their ass kicked in front of... So people have gotten their ass kicked in high school and never recovered.
Yeah.
Never recovered.
Yeah.
Have been a confidence mess their whole life, been shell-shocked from one ass kicking. And especially if they deserved it. They're picking on some guy and he fucking beats their ass and he gets on YouTube. You might never recover. You will constantly be in your mind, you at your worst moment. Instead of having the ability to come back, talk to that guy and go, dude, I was a fucking piece of shit and thank you for kicking my ass. You're right. You're right. You're right. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have been a bully. I was a dick. I don't even know why I'm doing it. I'm only 17. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm growing and learning. But I'm not your enemy. Like that's a beautiful moment that everyone's denied. Like no one gets, you're not going to see that YouTube video. You're only going to see the video of that guy who deserved it getting his ass kicked. And for that guy, that moment when people experience a bad moment in their life, that moment when it's something as brutal as like getting your ass kicked when you deserved it, that can fucking define you forever. Forever.
Well, not only as a kid, but like I think about like. We were talking about guys that have gone and women that have gone on SNL, and after a year or two, it doesn't work out, and then they just become ghosts in the comedy world. And then you look at like Shane Gillis, who didn't even get on the show, but had a traumatic experience of almost getting on the show, and how he dealt with that, and how he recovered, and how he rose from those ashes, and how he got stronger. And then you got the guys that are that's still their credit, that they were on SNL. And you're like, I don't remember you on SNL. And it was like 12 years ago. And they never got back on the horse again. They lost their confidence.
That SNL thing's a totally different environment. And if you've ever heard Jim Brewer talk about it, Jim talked about on this podcast that he would come up with premises for sketches, and he'd be working on a sketch. And so you have to put in like a database, everything you're working on. And other writers would steal those premises and write their own sketches on those premises and just like just hamstring them.
Yeah.
And he confronted them, and there was like yelling and screaming. And eventually his wife talked him into leaving. But Jim Brewer is a great example, though, of a guy who, because he left Saturday Night Live, people kind of slept on him. And they forgot that he's one of the best comics alive.
Yeah.
That dude is
a
so
killer.
funny, man.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good. And he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
He's a rock solid human being.
Yep.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he became more famous over time just through like the accumulation of videos getting out there, because he doesn't promote himself. He doesn't try. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like a genuine person. He was happy to just go, and he has a legion of fans, so he can go sell out comedy clubs any fucking time he wants. He shows up in here and there, and he's just killing it for the weekend and goes back home to Jersey and relaxed.
Yeah, he's out in the country.
And then when the pandemic hit and all the craziness in Jersey, he bailed and went to Florida. He's like, fuck it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And now he's dead in a tornado. No, sorry. That's not funny.
Is he in Florida now?
Yeah, he's in Florida.
No shit.
Yeah, imagine if he died.
God.
I feel like such a piece of shit.
The last stop.
Why do I feel like I should feel like a piece of shit that everybody died there? There's like, how many deaths have happened in that hurricane?
I don't think that many.
Did you see Don Lemon was trying to talk some climate scientist into saying that this hurricane is because of climate science? And he's like, I'm not, it's not exactly how it works. I'm just trying to explain to you what is going on, and this is the hurricane, and we can cover that more broadly. But
I know every time there's a cold day, all of the climate deniers say, "Oh, well, where's your global warming?" And then every time there's a hurricane, Everybody on the left is like, well, this is
Dude, that is a complex issue.
Yeah.
That's a complex issue that we're in danger of getting ideologically boxed into. Because no one is ever going to deny that climate change is going to have a giant effect on humans. And it seems to be increasing. No one's
ever going to deny that?
No,
There's a lot of people denying that.
Yeah, but no one logical.
Right.
Like, it's happening.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, the temperature is rising.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is why people want to ignore the fact that it's always done this. Like, humans have, without a doubt, we have an effect on that. With carbon emissions are up, and who knows what the fuck the gases in the air and all the crazy shit we do with mass production and energy consumption. But it's always been up and down. Like, I had this guy, Steve Koonin, on the podcast, who's a physicist, and he wasn't even a climate scientist. He's just a guy who just decided to, like, examine the models. And he's like, if you go, like, thousands of years, it's all crazy. It's all like this and that. It's up by this many degrees and down by that many. It's like it's never stable, ever. When there was humans living in fucking caves, it was never stable. But when they were looking at it over 100 years, you can get these crazy spikes. You're like, oh my God, look, we started using gas-powered cars and it was going up and up. But if you go 1,000 years, that's totally normal. All that stuff's normal. The question is, how much of an impact do we have on it? That's not totally being quantified. Like, they're not exactly sure. They know it's a significant impact, but they know this is happening anyway. And the Ice Age happened anyway. The Ice Age happened without us. It didn't have anything to do with us.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again.
Yeah.
It's probably going to happen again. It's probably this constant cycle. X many thousands of years, this happens, and then X many thousands of years, that happens. And that's why the fucking Sahara Desert used to be a rainforest. Did you know that? That giant-ass fucking desert in Africa, that was all tropical.
Wow.
Yeah. All of that stuff's like that.
Yeah.
That's a constant shifting from, like, these tropical rainforests into deserts.
Yeah.
And then back and forth.
Yeah.
Over thousands and thousands of years. We just look at things through this tiny little window of history. What we wrote down. What do we know? What do we know? It's hot this time of year, said Doris in 1822. Like, we don't have, like, satellite Doppler radar from 1822. So we have, like, this window of, like, a couple of hundred years of people paying attention and writing shit down. But then when they do core samples of the Earth and they find, like, the Earth's temperature, they try to, like, do the calculations over, like, thousands of years. Like, dude, it's always shifting. It's always going crazy. This whole fucking world used to be connected in one island, Pangea. It was one big thing, they think, and it just separated slowly in his land. This is chaos. Like, it's always changing. It has nothing to do with electric cars. It's always changing. And if you buy one of those fucking houses on stilts and you're in Santa Monica or Malibu, like, good luck, bitch.
Yeah.
What a risk you're taking. That shit's going to move.
Yeah.
It's going to move in a mile, 10 miles.
Dude, there's a lot of cities like Miami, they're already saying, like, when there's a full moon and a high tide, the fucking downtown is, like, underwater. Like, that's a big city. This is, like, now. You know?
Dude, it's so crazy. And the ground in Miami around that area is porous.
Yeah.
Like, when the water goes up, it's going to go through the ground.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like something's going to stop it.
Right.
No. It's just going to go right through the ground.
Yeah.
That's a swamp. You guys have a giant, awesome city on a swamp.
And they were told years ago, they looked at it and they were like, people shouldn't live here. And they're like, no, this is great. This is great. And they sold land to everybody. And
the crazy thing is they're still selling land. So what do they know? It's like the bankers aren't stupid. If they would consult with people to try to figure out if someone's going to default on their loans, if they're going to sell them, like, property, like, right there on the beach. Because if, the insurance companies get involved, like, whoa, how much is this house? $50 million. Jesus Christ. How many feet is it from the water?
Yeah.
10 feet. 10 feet from the water. So you're you're willing to bet $50 million that water doesn't move any closer than 10 feet?
Maybe go 20 feet.
You know how close 10 feet is, bitch? 10 feet is this desk. This is the water.
Yeah.
And Jamie is your fucking house.
Yeah.
This is the ocean.
Dude, what about the people that are in New Orleans that are rebuilding? Like, rebuilding for what?
I think it's the vibe. New Orleans is another country. I mean, it really feels like those people get to drink on the street.
Yeah.
You know, they have that cool way of talking.
Yep.
They got great food.
Oh, I can't. I'm going there next Friday.
It's dangerous there.
It's my second time ever being there.
Dangerous crime-wise.
Yeah.
They're not doing so good with the crime.
Yeah.
But as far as like the vibe of the city, man, I know people that they swear by it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what's nice is like when I think about how many times me and my jackass friends have gone to Vegas, and you always come home feeling like had.
Yeah.
You just feel that emptiness of like leaving a strip club of like, what did I just do?
Right.
And then you think you could spend that same money and go to a place like New Orleans or Nashville where there's like a real culture, where there's like
Yeah.
real shit that's, you know.
Well, that's why people like to visit Austin and go see the live music.
Yeah.
There's so much live music here.
Yeah, we went out the other night. It was fun.
God damn, there's so many musicians here. There's so many talented people.
Yeah.
It's a crazy town in that regard. But to have a thing that you could do like that is, yeah, that's fun. Go have a few drinks. Go to a real thing.
Yeah.
The problem with Vegas is it's like everyone's like, it's Vegas. So it's like you're at a 24/7 New Year's Eve show. Mm-hmm. You know those New Year's Eve shows? I don't like them. I don't do
No.
them anymore. I stopped doing them. I did one like, a couple years back, and they were great. The people were great. But there's a thing where it's like, it's New Year's. It's not just a show. It's like this thing on top of the show.
Bigger than the show, yeah.
Everybody wants to scream and yell. Like, how much is it affecting your life? This weird capturing of time in calendars and watches and cell phones. Like, how weird is that? Because it's just, time is this right there, right now. That's it. That's time. All that other shit, like this year is this year, and I've done that for 6 months. That's all in your head.
It's my birthday.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Who gives
the
a
worst.
fuck?
The worst. Bitch, you had one birthday. It was 32 years ago. Let it go. Let it go.
Why are you interrupting
Leave
my
everybody
dinner
alone.
with your cake? I'm not singing.
Leave
You
everyone
think these
alone.
fucking 3 busboys want to be singing right now? There's tables that need to be cleaned up.
Bro, that's a game changer for me. If there's a buddy and he gets mad that I didn't wish him a happy birthday, we're not talking anymore.
Yeah.
You need to go to a doctor. Whatever's really bothering you. Aren't we men? I mean, aren't we men?
Yeah.
What the fuck
How
are you talking
underappreciated
about?
do you feel that you need us all to say happy birthday to you?
Yeah.
And you're 47? That's
Yeah.
not even a thing. That's
not
not
a
even a
thing.
round number.
Get the fuck out of here with your birthday.
I have not gone out for my birthday. I mean, I'll go out with my wife maybe, but like I would not ask my friends to get together and buy me a present.
I would not ask my friends to do anything.
Yeah.
I think your friends are supposed to just be your friends.
Yeah.
You know, if I need some help with something, I'll ask my friends for something. I don't need a fucking friend to give me a happy birthday party.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I just think it'd be really cool if you threw me a birthday party this year. I mean, you're my best friend, and no one's ever thrown me a birthday party. And I figured if I was going to come to anybody, I'd come to you. And just really like it to be at Wild Wings. And
it could be 80s theme. It'd be really cool if it was 80s theme.
It'd be
and everybody
nice.
dressed like that.
yeah, we all dress like old video games.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
And like I
to
got
a doctor.
registered. I got registered at Williams-Sonoma.
Oh,
whatever.
the registered. Go to a doctor. Women talk so much shit about like when women register. Oh, look what this bitch registered.
Yeah.
Look what she's trying to get.
Yeah. It's like you're airing your needs. Look what you need. A douche?
Well,
you register for a douche?
You're hoping somebody goes off. You
Yeah.
know, you're hoping someone goes off. So you include some high items,
Yeah.
high value items, just in case. Just in case there's some well-heeled individuals coming to my big shindig.
And then it shames everybody else because they see the big ticket item and then they buy you some utensils.
Do you see that Mackenzie Bezos got divorced again?
Is that Jeff
Bezos'
Bezos' wife?
ex-wife.
She got remarried and
I
now
had a
she's
bit
divorced?
about it that I had to bail on the bit because I don't know, I felt mean and personal. Not even mean. It's not mean. The bit is that a woman she won $39 billion in the divorce settlement.
No.
And then she immediately married a high school science teacher. So the bit was about a woman worth $39 billion marrying a dude worth $3,200. I was like, that guy doesn't have shit to say in that relationship. I'm like, that guy doesn't get to pick any of the color of the walls.
Right.
And I'm like, you know how I know? Because
That's a one-sided 69 position.
yeah, because the way I know is because I don't get to pick anything in my house. My wife doesn't even work. That guy's fucked. Like, he has zero chance. If she's that rich,
Yeah.
I'm like, that guy's on his best behavior.
Right.
I go, he's got his pronouns in his Twitter bio. He's drinking white wine. That guy, he's neutered.
He's planning her birthday party a year year in
Yeah,
advance.
I'm like, that guy's a performance artist. He's putting on a show. He knows how much money she has.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long can you be cool? Well, it turns out 24 months. So there. He couldn't keep it together. There's no way you could be yourself if your wife is worth $39 billion.
Yeah.
It's just too hard to be yourself.
Yeah.
Too hard.
Why is there a Lamborghini in the staff parking lot?
I want one. You had $39 billion. And she's like just fully committed to social justice and like prison reform. And she's really a kind of a beautiful soul in that regard. Like she's a very, very wealthy woman who's committed to philanthropy. And she's spending all this money, billions of dollars on affordable housing, on really cool stuff. Like it's really cool to see what she's doing. She's keeping a lot of money. She's got plenty of money. Give him a fucking Lamborghini.
Give him a Lambo.
Come on.
Come on, he's late for school.
The guy was a science teacher. He's probably fascinated by engineering.
Yep.
Why not? You're supposed to live like a baller.
Yeah.
I remember Joey Diaz got mad at us once. We were talking about micro houses. About people who live off the grid and they live in these little. What the fuck are you talking about, micro house? Get a fucking house. You're a baller. You want a mansion, cocksucker. You want people to walk over your house and go, look at this motherfucker's house. That's what you want. And I was like, he's right.
Yeah.
Jeff
now that guy
Bezos'
wants
ex-wife.
He should have a fucking laboratory behind the house with
Yes.
just like all kinds of animals.
Buy him shit, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Buy him a Lambo.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you can't because then everyone knows. See, like, you get caught in that trap of philanthropy where you're not allowed to be a consumption person anymore.
You can't fly private jets now. If
Yeah,
you're a
if you,
philanthropist.
especially not the climate accords. You find out how many people flew private jets to climate accords. Like, Christ, people, this is terrible messaging.
Yeah.
But it's like if you get in that world, you can't like wear some crazy expensive watch and some crazy expensive purse, and you can't do the flashy, showy things that billionaire women like to do. Billionaire women like to wear like $500,000 watches. You know, they walk around with things that are covered in diamonds and shit. That's what they like. They like to show all those other bitches. Look at all this shit I got.
Yeah.
Oh, your yacht's 150 feet. Ours is 210 feet, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like Jeff Bezos just built the biggest yacht in the world.
I just read about that.
They were going to
yeah.
deconstruct a bridge to get it through.
No shit.
And people got
Were
so
they building
angry.
it in Italy?
I think it was in Netherlands.
Yeah, okay.
And-
yeah, the Netherlands.
But that's what you do. That's what you do when you got that kind of cash.
Well, that's what there was an article in the New Yorker about these super yachts, and it said that there was some guy that was like, it's the ultimate way of saying, oh, you got a house in the Hamptons, I got a house in the Hamptons. You got a driver, I got a driver. You got a helicopter, you got a helicopter. How big's your yacht?
Yeah.
They're like, that's what it really comes down to these days.
Because the amount of money involved in yacht life, if you go in yacht life, the amount of money is insane.
Yeah.
These are people that are making like $100 million a year. Like, it's that kind of money to run a yacht. I have a buddy who's got a yacht. And he's very wealthy. And it's very strange.
How much time does he spend on it?
A lot. He loves it. He loves it. I mean, he's fortunate enough that he runs a bunch of successful things that he can do them remotely. So he's more of like a manager at this point. You know, he just like handles all these various entities that he runs. But he's very successful. And
Because that's the thing is in the old days, if you were rich and you bought a yacht, you couldn't go on it. You needed to be running your business. And now you can do that shit from Zoom.
what I was going to say is he's very successful, but he knows how to have fun.
Yeah.
And he knows like the value of relaxation and fun. And he's set it up well just because he's smart. So he parties. So he likes to get drunk. So he just fucking has this giant house that floats on the ocean. And he has a whole staff that works for him there. It's a weird life, man. But you're like, damn, I can get used to this.
Have you been on it?
Yes. Yeah, I hung out with him. Our families are friends too, so we all hung out together. So it was just like being on there, like, man, this is a wild life. Like,
Yeah.
you get used to this.
Yeah.
But things like, where do you go from there? And I think that's the thing about money people that are just interested in money. It's like you constantly want the new, bigger, crazier thing. You constantly, like, I get that a yacht would be amazing. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, like, when you keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, like, what are you doing? Do you ever get to the yacht that's like, this is the perfect size yacht. We're good. You know, let's just have fun together. No, you just want you want a supersonic jet. I heard they're coming out with supersonic private jets. You're going to be able to go anywhere in the world in 4 hours. Let's go. And then you got to be the first guy with a supersonic jet. Jeff Bezos is going to have one. He's gonna
Yeah.
paint it like a dick. That's
Yeah.
what he's gonna do. Just big veiny dick. Just fucking. You know how much it must kill him watching his ex-wife giving away all that money?
How much you think? Do you think she did a prenup? She must have done a crazy prenup with that teacher.
I hope so.
Even if he gets 1/10,000th of her money,
Yeah, he's
he'll
set
be
for
worth
He's set for
$20
life.
million.
I hope that dude walks around with like gold chains and fucking open shirts from now on. I hope he goes full heel. Just Ric Flair in the 90s. Woo!
He's at the chalkboard. His pointer's made of gold.
Yeah.
It's got diamonds on it.
No more teaching. Well, that's one of the things in the bit where I was saying, like, the guy, like, who she wants him to be is like this cool science teacher. But you can't be that once you're married to a lady worth $39 billion. So you quit your job. So you quit.
Yeah.
So you stop teaching.
And now he's got no identity. He's the guy that hangs around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tricky relationship.
Yeah.
When a woman's worth that much more than you.
Fuck.
I mean, that's not like she makes $100,000 a year, but I make 75. No. She has 38 billion.
Shit.
That's a lot of moolah, son.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for a woman like that, it's probably very difficult to know for sure if a man is sincere. Because there's wolves out there. There's male and female wolves. There's gold diggers, but there's men that'll like scam on a woman like that. Mm-hmm. Like that's a target. Like she has to people will like move to her town to try to coordinate a potential
Join the right
serendipitous
yoga
meeting.
class.
Yes, yes. It gets sketchy.
Yeah.
Because she's, if someone's a con man or someone's just sociopathic and they have a plan. Like if you have a plan to start a business, what's the plan? Plan is I'm going to do this and that, and I'm going to make a bunch of money. I have a plan to marry that lady because she's worth $39 billion. Like, it's kind of a business, right? Being a gold digger is a business.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, there was this great podcast about this guy down in Orange County, and he had just got out of prison. He was homeless, and he found this rich lady, and he just came up with a plan, and he tracked her, and I forgot how he met her, but he had moved in within 3 days.
Jesus Christ.
And he just said that he lived in the desert. He had a house, a big mansion in the desert, and he had scrubs.
God.
And so he wore scrubs and said he was a doctor. But he wasn't a doctor. He just bought fucking scrubs, and he'd leave every day and pretend he was going to the hospital. And
my God.
and he ended up killing. Or wait, did he kill her? I think he killed her. And then there's a crazy final scene where the daughter knows about him, and they're in a fucking empty parking garage. And he tries to kill her, and she fucking kills him.
Oh, my God.
Or she at least stabs him where he's incapacitated.
Oh, my
And gets
God.
away.
Oh, my God.
And he had done
God.
it serially. He had done it with a number of women.
There was a show once where they were following this guy who got scammed by those guys pretending to be women online and engaging in relationships with men where they'll send them correspondence and photos and and talk to them. I can't
Caitlyn
wait
Jenner?
to meet you. No, what are you talking about?
Men pretending to be women?
No. Listen to me. They're scammers, and so they contact lonely men, and they pretend to be a woman, like Nigerian scammers.
Yeah.
And they send photos. They just steal a bunch of girls'
Right.
photos from Facebook. So this poor guy went to Europe. He was a divorced man, and I think he was a widower, and he was like in his 60s, and he went to Europe twice to meet with this woman, and every time she had an excuse why she couldn't meet him, and he went back again. And the girl's daughter was just so despondent because all of his money, he didn't have much, but all of his money he's sending to her. He's sending her $20,000. She has to get out of this and that, and so people are coming after her. She's really in trouble, and she owes money. Could you please help? And he's helping her. We're going to get together, my darling. We're going to be together forever. And then he would go there, and she couldn't make it. I couldn't go. My mother got sick. This poor fucking guy believed.
Damn.
And it wasn't even a good scam. It wasn't even like physical contact, right?
Yeah.
But a physical contact scam where someone can pretend they love you and you're lonely and finally my prayers have been answered. This person who's so amazing. And then everyone's like, listen, I think Mark might be full of shit. Fuck you. Mark's amazing. All they think about is how good they feel now that Mark's in their life. And Mark gives them back rubs and
Dude, loneliness is a painful thing. I mean, of all the human emotions to feel, like loneliness is at the top of list, things you don't want to sit with. And if somebody can come in and they can alleviate that and they can make you feel loved and cared about in a world that's full of rejection, whether it's work or friends or your kids maybe fucking left. Like this woman, she was actually really successful, so it was hard to figure out why she had such a gaping hole in her that she would look to this guy for affection. But it was
but it's romantic affection.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how successful you are. See, that's all nonsense. Because once you're successful enough where you don't have to worry about food and money and housing, everything else is nonsense. So the success doesn't help the loneliness. As a matter of fact, it probably accentuates it because it's a thing that everybody always thinks is going to like make them happy. Like the thing that people think is going to make them happy is success. Like one day I'll be the boss, then I'll be happy. Like no, you're going to be happy or you're not going to be happy. You'll be happier having achieved your goals, but that's not going to make you happy. And so if you're already a rich lady and you're just rotting with loneliness, like you're a drug addict who like you never get cured. You never get free of the pull of heroin. You need it. We all need it. It's the worst thing they could do to you in jail. That you're in a fucking metal and cement box filled with rapists and murderers. The worst thing they could do is leave you alone. Like we're connected to each other.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that love from people, I remember when I moved to LA in '94, I came out here to do this television show, and we were out here for like 2 weeks, and I was staying in the Oakwood Gardens apartments, and I didn't have any friends, so I'd go to the Comedy Store at night, and I would hang out there, and I'd try to do a set, and I was what's called a non-paid regular, which means I could go up after the show, because Mitzi wasn't sure about me yet. And so I was doing that, and I had no real interaction with anybody. And then this girl that I was working with, one of the other actresses on the set, she gave me a hug.
Yeah.
And it was the best hug anybody ever gave me in my life. It was totally just loving, non-sexual, non-flirty, just a, you're my friend, here's a hug. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I'll never forget that feeling because I was like, oh my God, I needed that.
Dude, I got one of those out here the other day. I'm spacing the woman's name who used to work at the store.
You give hugs like that. I love hugging you.
Yeah, I like hugging you. Yeah.
Because we love each other.
Yeah.
We've been friends for so long.
Yep, I know.
When I hug you, it's like it's a warm hug.
Yeah. And there's no back patting.
No, there's no bullshit.
No.
There's no hey bro.
Yeah. But the woman, what's the woman's name? She used to work at the store, and now she's out here, and I think she's going to manage.
Carrie Mitchell.
Yeah.
She's the best.
She gave me a nice hug the other night.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah.
She's the best. I'm so glad we got her out here.
Yeah.
We got a great crew.
You got a good crew.
Yeah. We got all the all-stars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we haven't even started yet. I mean, everything's going great already. You know, the scene here is incredible. There's like 12 world-class comics living here,
I've seen it. I've been doing shows here the last 3 nights, and it's just crazy. And now you got Brian out here.
Brian Simpson is a motherfucker,
He's a
dude.
motherfucker.
He's coming with me to London.
He's like Mike Tyson. He just comes at you, slow and steady, straight at you.
Such good writing. Man.
Yeah, the writing's good. And his attitude.
Tight.
He does not give a fuck on stage.
No. Well, he's free now because now he's successful. And now he's got a Netflix special. Now he's killing it on the road and he's killing it on stage. Like, he's free. And he's doing it the right way. He just works every day. Always writing.
And he moved here.
Yep, moved here.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good spot, dude.
Yeah.
Comedy decentralized. Comedy separated from Hollywood is the best comedy. It's
the
like it's
audiences
the
at the what's the club?
Vulcan.
At the Vulcan. You walk out and they are literally, they look like when you're about to feed puppies. They just look up at you like I'm so excited you're about to make me laugh, as opposed to being in LA where the arms are crossed and they're like, oh, you're not Sebastian Maniscalco, you know? And
These are real people.
Yeah.
Texas has real people in them, and I didn't think that was a thing. I thought, I go here, I have a good time, that's fun, but there is a general attitude that people have here that is way healthier. They're just regular people.
It is weird, the schism in Austin between, like, I was talking about the other night, like the cab drivers, the Uber driver always wants to tell you how Austin used to be better. And then you've got you've got like these OG Austin people that are like flip-flop wearing, pot t-shirts, and then you've got like the guys with the loafers and the dress shirt tucked in.
Yeah.
You know,
Tech guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of those
A lot of
people
banker
around.
guys,
And then
yeah.
like Adam was just telling me about his apartment. Like he was in an apartment and they jacked up the rent 40% on him in 1 year. And I said that to a couple of people and they were like, "Oh no, that's standard the last couple of years." Yeah, they're just
Jesus.
your rent is going up that much.
Well, there's that much of a demand because so many people moved here, and there's not a lot of houses to buy.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Yeah, when I was
Because
up
some people get mad at you.
when I was upstairs watching Brian Simpson last night. And he goes, "So I lived in LA, but I just moved out here from California." And a guy under his breath just goes, "Fuck you." But
Tony Hinchcliffe's at a bar the other night. Some guy comes up to him and he goes, "Hey, what's up, Tony?" And Tony goes, "Oh, hey, how you doing, man?" And he goes, "Fuck you for ruining my city." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was your city." He goes, "How long you live here?" The guy goes, 11 years. He goes, "Thanks for keeping it warm for us. We'll take it from here."
he just tapped him out.
We'll take it from here. 11 years. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. We've been here for 2. Shut the fuck
I
up.
know.
That's basically
like
the same thing.
New York was like that too. All these people come from Iowa and
Yeah.
moved to Brooklyn for 10 years. And all
Ari
of a
talks
sudden-
about that. He said those are the people that yell out at the store, boo, or
Yeah.
at the cellar.
Yeah.
If they don't like your premise, boo.
Yeah, right.
I can't wait to have blue hair.
Yeah.
It's just people, man. It's just some people are gross.
Yeah.
Some people just, no matter what, they're on a team and they're gross,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't help themselves. It's just like they're surrounded by stupid people. That's what they've absorbed. Those are the patterns they've got in their head.
Mm.
They've never done anything that challenged them to break out of whatever pattern they're on.
Yeah.
And sometimes you run into them.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to, and oftentimes they're in the crowd and they want to get drunk and yell out stupid shit.
It's so freeing when you can see them for what they are, though, and just laugh right in their faces.
Yeah.
You know, like God, I heard these two guys. I'm staying in I won't say what hotel, but you put me in a very nice hotel here in town. And I walked past the lobby, and these two guys, 4 guys, and they all had the dress shirts on, and they all look like they do like what do you call that workout now? That's
CrossFit?
Yeah, they do like CrossFit, and they're all like tan, and they all have crew cuts. And I just hear one guy go, "Well, what about the capitalization?" And I just stopped and I went, "Yeah, what about the capitalization?" And then I just turned out and walked away.
Fucking communist. That guy's probably a liberal.
Yeah, what's he doing in this hotel? He doesn't belong in
Probably
this
losing
hotel.
money.
Yeah, someone else is paying for it, I bet. Well, probably.
I'd like to see his fucking portfolio. I bet it's shit.
I bet he's heavily weighted in small tech cap stocks.
I bet that fucking idiot invested in Bitcoin.
That's one bullet I dodged.
The thing that gets me is the NFT thing.
Yeah,
Like people that want to sell
that's
NFTs.
Crazy.
I want you to be in a partnership with an NFT with me.
Yeah,
I'm like, what are you
right?
saying? I don't even know what you're saying.
Want to get on a spaceship with me?
I've had 80 people explain it to me now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No.
I get that guy, Beeple. You know what he does? Beeple does, do you know who he is?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Dude, it's the shit. That guy does a new piece of digital art every single day.
Oh.
So if you buy an NFT from Beeple, first of all, you're buying a physical piece of art.
Uh-huh.
And you could put it in your NFT wallet or whatever the fuck that is. But what he's doing is creating a gallery. He has a legitimate gallery full of this digital art. And it's amazing shit. And he's so dedicated to it. He puts out one piece every fucking day, no matter what. Always.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
He
it's
said
all
one
like
day-
that kind of stuff?
It's all like,
Illustrations?
it's all digitally created artwork. Some of it is like dicks and missile silos and shit. And he goes, if people are trying to like find like hidden meaning, he goes, it's fucking dicks.
Yeah.
It's just dicks. It's like, he's hilarious. He's a great guy. And have you never seen his shit? Pull up
Yeah.
Beeple's Instagram page. It's amazing.
Oh,
website
wow.
right now.
What's that, Jamie?
I'm on his website right
Oh,
now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
look
look
at
at this.
that.
Trump
That's
with
amazing.
naked baby Trump. It says end game. It's
On
naked
January 6th.
baby Trump on top of the. I mean, how amazing is that? Woke Island.
Wookie.
Wookiee
Oh,
Island.
Wookiee Island. Whoa, I see a W and an O. I just assume it's woke. Reset button. Oh wow. Yeah, so his stuff is all like some of it's hilarious, some of it's really disturbing. Santa came early.
That must
hilarious.
be fun for a guy like that. That's his life.
Yeah.
He found something he's good at that he loves.
Yeah.
And he found a way to wake up every morning and go, let's fucking imagine. Let's play. Let's do this.
And he was so consistent in how he did it that he got to, whoa, are they all changing or are you doing that?
I'm changing it.
Oh, it's
I'm
like-
going through them.
You got a little ADD, don't you, fella? Some of these are
fast.
good.
You can't. I'm looking at it quick.
Look at that. But the
Yeah.
point being is like he was just so consistent and so
Yeah.
disciplined that he just consistently put them out. And now he's making hundreds of millions of dollars doing this.
Damn, no shit,
Yeah,
really.
like the art in the galleries.
He's like an R. Crumb kind of a guy.
Yeah, he's like in terms of NFTs and like sales of digital art, he's like the number one guy, isn't
No
he?
shit.
Or is one of them?
2.4
It
million
definitely
followers.
was. It's changing often now because people are doing.
Yeah,
different stuff.
2.4
Plus, when you
million
make
followers.
an NFT, every time it gets resold, he makes more money off
Yes.
of that.
Click on that chimp one. But it's also like they're not. You're actually getting real digital art from this guy. Look at that.
So
Just
what's the
wild
difference
shit.
between if I buy the NFT that shows me that or me just going to his Instagram account and looking at
Because you get something like that.
Oh.
You get a piece, like a digital piece of art too, and that's where it gets squirrely with like when a non-fungible token. You own the rights to that thing. So even though like some of them like Bored Ape Yacht Club or something like that, I don't understand because it's just a photograph and you own it, I guess. But I can take a screenshot of it and it'll be on my phone. But I guess it's not as cool as you owning it on your phone. Okay, I don't totally get that, but I get this. I get the digital artwork, and I get like that's an original Beeple, and you know sends you these things that go with it, and there's more to it. And like his gallery that he's doing, he has like these big displays and big things, and I'm sure you could buy those too. It's like you're buying a real thing. Like if you bought one of his art displays and it's like that, but it's like 7 feet tall, and like you could put it in your living room, and people could come over and go, "Whoa,
Yeah.
like, that's a real valuable, cool thing, a piece of art."
Yeah. Dude, you know who's a great artist is Kevin Nealon. Have you seen his?
Really?
Dude, pull up Kevin Nealon's. He does caricatures of famous comedians.
Really?
He's got a new book that just came out, and he just sent it to me, and it's like as good as any caricatures I've seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kevin Nealon's a nice guy.
He's a super nice
So
guy.
nice. Always
Yeah.
friendly. Like,
He's also one of those guys that like is like when you talk about Brewer, like he is truly a funny human being.
look at that. That's incredible.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's Freddie Mercury. What else you got in there? Kevin Nealon artwork. So he has his own Instagram just for his art. Wow, look at that Letterman.
Look at that fucking.
Wow, look at Kurt Cobain. Jim Carrey.
That's
incredible.
great.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's really good. Oh, wow, look at that Gary Shandling. That's
Look at the
amazing.
capillaries in the nose. Look at that detail.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good. And it's like, it's such a good characterization. Like, it's not a realistic painting of them.
No, they're like
Oh, wow, look at that Bourdain.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's really good,
he
dude.
captures their souls. It's not just like a funny painting.
But that's the thing about a caricature, right? Like, they exaggerate certain aspects of you, but you know instantly who it is.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. That's really dope.
Who's the guy that does the ones from your show? Gary Bourdain?
Gary Brandt.
Brandt. He does good stuff.
Yeah, he does amazing stuff. Pull up his stuff.
He just did one of Tom O'Neill. Tom just sent it to me yesterday.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
He does. He'll show the illustrations too as he's. Yeah. There he's got David Tell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Gabor Mate. Look at that.
He's missing some teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, he does all the guests. Look at Eddie Bravo. That's amazing. That's
Like
dope.
cracked marble.
Yeah, not so crazy now. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Louis C.K. Wow,
Oh, that's good.
that's wild. Yeah, it's that's a specific kind of comedy art. right? Making a caricature of a person.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one that we have that makes me uncomfortable. I don't think I'm going to hang up anymore. It was Dosbach. He did one of Joey Diaz. I'm like, that one's a little disrespectful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's blue cheese with wings or go fuck your mother. It's so, it's like, ugh. Like if I was Joey, I wouldn't want to look at that.
Yeah.
It's kind of rude.
It's
That one. You know?
That's great. Well, it's like going on a roast. I've been on a couple roasts in my life, and if you ever want to find out who you really are, if you want to know what people really think of you, because we all kind of it's not what's on the internet. When you go on the internet, it's a bunch of trolls that are just saying mean shit. But when you do a roast, it has to make people laugh, which means it has to be grounded in a collective perception of who you really are.
Right.
And when you hear people make jokes about you on a roast, that's how you know who you really. What I get is like, he looks old.
Well, you know, that was the
fucking
purpose.
hurts.
That was the purpose of the Heyoka in the Lakota tribes.
Oh, you were telling me about that. That's
the
wild.
Sacred clown.
Yeah.
They had someone who would mock everything.
Yeah.
Because if there was something that could be mocked, if it made people laugh, then you knew that it was true or that it was bullshit or that the thing was easily mocked. It was a stupid thing.
Yeah.
And they used that to sort of test like whether or not their thoughts were being corrupted and whether or not they were like being delusional and looking at things incorrectly.
Like the court jester.
Yeah.
I think
But
the court jester was
was
supposed to
just-
keep the king honest.
Was he really?
I think that was part of his function, was to show that the king could be in on the joke.
How many of those guys got their dicks cut off and stuffed in their mouth?
Dude, you want to talk about the history of stand-up comedy. That was the first comedian.
Yes.
The court jester, and he had skin in the game. Nowadays, anybody can show up to an open mic night. You know, you work in marketing for FedEx during the day, but you come out at night, you put on a funny tie, and you get up and do 5 minutes. If you bomb, whatever, it hurts a little bit. But if you're the court jester and you bomb,
They just
off
kill
with
you.
his head.
They'll just kill you for fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things that we love about watching, like, Game of Thrones or any of those, like, I know they're fantasy, but they're supposed to be depicting a time in which there was no electronics and no civilization was crazy. People just killed people. They
Yeah.
just decided I'm going to kill them, and no one could do damn thing about it.
Right.
They'll just beat you to death in front of everybody in the middle of like a dining hall, and no one stops it. And you realize, like, well, this is what people did to each other back then.
Yeah.
And if someone just decides that you've dishonored the queen with your jester ways, they're just going to chop your dick off in front of everybody and stuff it in your mouth while you scream and bleed out on the stairs to the throne.
And they barely pay attention because they see it every day. They're not even aghast by your death.
Dude, the whole Dracula, the whole myth of Dracula, like the Dracula story, the Bram Stoker version of Dracula, came out of this legend of Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Tepes, who was a guy who was a real guy who used to torture the enemy and impale them on spikes in front of him while he ate dinner.
No shit.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Look at what he used to do. So here's Vlad the Impaler. There's a depiction of him. So he lived Vlad Dracula. He lived in 1476, somewhere around there. Is that what it says? Let's see. Go to his.
So that was his third reign. He reigned a few different times, which wonder how that worked. Who took over while he was not reigning?
But this guy, Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Dracula, he was known for he would cut pieces of a prisoner's flesh off and force them to eat it. He did like horrific shit. So it was 1420. What does it say? 23. 1428 to 1431, somewhere around then he was born. He died somewhere around 1476. So he's like 45 to 49 years old when he died. They're not sure. But during that time, he was fucking terrifying.
There's so many crazy ways through history that people have mutilated and killed people. You ever heard of a Colombian necktie?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Yeah, they slice your throat and pull your tongue through your neck. Yeah. That's rough.
That's fucking rough.
That's rough. That's rough.
And then there's the one called like the Glasgow Smile or something, where they take a knife and they cut your cheeks from the corners of your mouth up, so for the rest of your life you look like you're smiling.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some evil fucks out there. If you find out what the Comanches did, there's this book, Empire of the Summer Moon.
Oh yeah, I read that.
When he talks
That guy
about
lives
how
in Austin, right?
Yeah, yeah. I had him on the podcast. He's great. It's an amazing book, and he found all that stuff out when he moved here. He moved here and then he started researching the history of the Native American tribes and the Plains tribes, and then he writes this book about the Comanches. It's a fucking crazy story.
Yeah.
But one of the things they did is those people would fight to the death. They never surrendered, because if they surrendered, they assumed they were going to be tortured, because they torture everybody. And they would take people and they would hack their arms and legs off, and while they were alive, throw them on a fire to watch them squirm. The last moments of your life, no arms. They would just hold you down and they just immediately hack off your arms, hack off your legs, then just chuck you on the fire.
Yeah.
And then they just kept doing it to more people, throwing them on the fire.
Damn. And there was a lot of rape. There was a lot of like, you're going to get raped and your family's going to watch.
And you're going to get murdered and your family's going to watch. And everybody got murdered except for the younger kids that they would try to incorporate into the tribe. And they would test them in various ways. And if they failed the test, they would kill them. And if they just kept their shit together, they could eventually become a part of the tribe. And the curious thing is, a lot of those people got captured later and released. Like the soldiers would, overcome a band of Indians and find captured white settlers, and they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay with the Native Americans. That's the Cynthia Ann Parker story. She's the woman who was, she gave birth to Quanah Parker, who was the last Comanche chief.
Yeah.
And he was half white. She was white. She was a white settler who was kidnapped when she was 9. She watched her mother get killed, watched her father get killed.
Didn't they take her away to like Pennsylvania and then she escaped and went back?
Yeah, she went back.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was despondent. Like when they brought her back to regular society, she was despondent. She did not want to live like that at all. She was in her 30s by then.
Yeah.
And she had just been living with the Comanche. She was a part of their culture. I mean, it just, it's like a romanticizing it in a lot of our eyes, because everybody, like romanticizes the idea of being a Plains Indian. Wow, it must have been incredible sleeping under the stars. But the people that they did capture and release back into society, they didn't want that. Like, nobody was going the other way. There was no Plains Indians that were like, look, fuck all this. I want to join you guys. I want to be a banker. Like, that wasn't happening. But people were leaving, and they were like living with the Indians, and they didn't want to go back. And it wasn't a small number. There was like some miners that struck deals with them, and various people that had made their way across the plain decided to join. And, if you got a good band of Indians that didn't want to kill you because you're a white settler, if you're in the right place at the right time and you joined in, like, for them it was like a better way of life.
No, and trying to paint the Indians as good or bad, that's not how it is. It's complicated. It's a culture. And it's kind of just where racism comes in, where everybody has to be seen as good or bad.
Well, they warred on each other hardcore in horrific ways. They cannibalized each other. There's the Nez Perce were famous for cannibalizing the victims that they captured. People did horrible things in all ethnicities, in all parts of the world, in all, like, when the barbaric times of human history, people have done absolutely terrible things to each other, to people that look like them, to people that look nothing like them. It's just like a part of being a human being, or has been a part of being a human being. I think like less now, because we're more recognizing the horrific nature of that. We get to discuss it because everybody kind of gets to talk now because of the internet and because of education, and like it's way harder to pull off like a Christopher Columbus type atrocity in 2022 and selling it to the public, like what they did.
Yeah.
You would get documentation, cell phone video footage, like, hey, why'd you cut their arms off if they didn't give you gold? Because that's what Christopher Columbus did.
Yeah.
Bro, what those people did, like, you read the priests' accounts of how they tortured the natives when they got here and what they did, like bashed babies' heads on rocks and told people if they don't bring them their weight in gold, they would cut their arms off, and show the other people that they're willing to do it, and then send them out, get more gold. Like, that was just how people behaved.
Yeah.
Which is hard for us to think about.
Yeah.
Because of the world we currently live in. But if the power went out and shit went sideways for just 6 months, do you know how crazy the world would be? How crazy was the world during like the BLM riots during COVID, where people were walking down the street throwing rocks into people's windows and smashing doors open and doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do for there's no social justice to that. They were wilding. So like you've seen those videos where people just went haywire. That's what happens. That's what happens when you get mob mentalities together. You're going to get certain people that don't give a fuck about a social cause or whatever. They just want to go wildin'. And they're going to jump in and come up with reasons why they can light buildings on fire and do. If there's no power for 6 months, they run the streets. There's no way to call the cops because there's no power.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right.
How many bullets you got? What the fuck, man? Like, that's how thin the veneer of civilization is over the world. For most of history, they behaved the way those clans in the Plains Indians did, and the way Columbus did, and the way the Mongols did, and the way the Romans did. Like, for most of history, people were cunts. Just horrible, murdering cunts.
Yeah, and you think about this country, like kids that were born, just after us, that didn't experience the Vietnam War at all, like have not seen barbarism in this country.
Right.
Short of the people that have gone to the Middle East that saw some horrible shit, for the most part, they've been guarded from that. And I mean, obviously school shootings and, the amount of homicides that take place is something, but that can't compare to the kind of barbarism that you're talking about.
Yeah, the school shootings, it's like, the reason why they're so horrific is because they're an aberration.
Yeah.
And the worst, most horrific aberration, someone who wants to kill purely innocent people, The thing that no one wants to talk about with those is how many of them are on psychiatric medications. Because it's almost all of them.
Or they've gone off psychiatric medications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the question is, like, is it correlation or causation? Are they already broken? Is the psychiatric medication what kept them from doing it earlier? I don't know. But... The horrific things that people have done throughout history are it's so fascinating how recent that was, because it really was only like a few lives ago. Like if you want to go to the plains of Texas and the plains of North America in 1700, you are in a wild world. Wild world. None of the towns are there, nothing's settled. It's wild. If you're living back then, and then someone could put you in a time machine just 322 years later, you'd be like, holy fuck. Because 300 years before that, it was the same shit. 1400 to 1700, not a lot of change here. And then you go 300 years later after that, and you're like, holy fuck. This is crazy. And
you think about the difference in 10 years in this country. Is a time machine that went 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
Is say 20. We didn't have cell phones 20 years ago. There wasn't, you were faxing shit.
Just how about what automobiles are now? I was talking to Reggie Watts, is a car guy, right? And Reggie has a Porsche Turbo S, which is a preposterous car. It's basically a spaceship. It goes 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds.
Wow.
Somewhere in the range of 2 seconds. Goes 1G laterally with all-wheel drive. The handling is outrageous. The speed is telepathic. It's like, shoo, it could just go wherever the fuck it wants to go. And I said to him, imagine bringing that car to 1970 and go drive that. They would think you were an alien. You must have come from another planet. If they saw the LCD screen that lights up and all the gauge clusters are in LCDs or LEDs, they would be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is insane. This is insane. Like, how do you start it? You press that button. Oh, my God. How does it know that I have the key? It's reading that you have the key in your pocket. Just press the button. And then you're in this thing.
And then a voice comes through, and it's your wife telephoning you from somewhere else. And they're like, what? The fuck?
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are you? Like, you can talk to someone in your car. Oh, not only that, you can say, navigate to Vulcan Gas Company.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, getting directions to Vulcan Gas Company. That quickly. Within a second.
And telling you don't go that way because there's traffic, rerouting.
Yeah. Or how old is Mick Jagger? It just tells you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do that all the time now. I just ask my phone, how old is somebody?
Yeah.
How much does that cost? How long has that been around? It just tells you.
Yeah.
Like you just ask your phone now. It's like we're literally in a science fiction movie.
Yeah. Find out.
How old is Greg Fitzsimmons? No. You have 2 contacts named Greg Fitzsimmons. Tap the phone number. Hey, that's not what I said. How old is the stand-up comedian Greg Fitzsimmons? Let's see here. Oh, Wikipedia. Here we go. 1966.
66, baby.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I need some testosterone shots. I just got a B12 shot. Feeling good.
We're going to get you hooked up. Next time you come in here, you're going to be jacked.
I've been working out like a
Jacked
maniac,
and tan.
though.
Have you been?
Last year and a half,
Beautiful.
joined Gold's Gym so I can be shamed.
In Venice?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the real one.
Yeah.
That's the mecca of bodybuilding.
It's been around since 1966.
Those guys can get you steroids.
They will, yeah. I'm the only guy in there. Dude, I am the smallest guy by 50 pounds. It's not even close. And like even the women are, bodybuilders, but they're fucking beautiful. Like they're big ass bodybuilders, but there's something beautiful about them. The way they've sculpted their bodies to be a certain way. And some of them get like fake tits and the fake tan and they're on steroids. But you go like, wow, that's a version of the human body I hadn't thought of.
Yeah. The fake tits and the tan is not the best part about it, but I do like the fit bodies.
Yeah.
I do like the fit bodies.
Yeah.
It's just like, but if you want to be like one of those Instagram models, there's a market for that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can make a lot of money.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing selfie workouts at Gold's Gym.
Well, I'm not saying you should do that, but what I am saying is, why is it okay to be a regular model, and it's not okay to do that? Like people look down on Instagram models. They look down on some girl who just like, this is her job is to look hot and take pictures in her underwear washing a car. Mm-hmm. What do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
This is my take on it. The reason why it exists is because men like me stare at it, first of all.
Yeah.
And B, why is that less valid than someone who starves himself to look like a coat hanger and walks down a runway?
Who's asking that question right now is Adam Levine's wife. Because she's a Victoria's Secret model, and he's naming their kid after his Instagram model girlfriend.
Whoops.
Did you hear about that?
Yes. That's a big whoops.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, that's a. I mean, when you see the neck tattoo, you go, all right, you're making some questionable decisions.
But in his world, that's not questionable.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's like, if you could get tattooed neck and shit, like, that's a real motherfucker.
That's a way of saying, I don't need a plan B.
Yeah.
Plan A is working out fine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're like Post Malone, you getting your face tattooed up, like, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's free of, and he's got his whole head tattooed.
Have you ever thought about a neck tattoo?
Yeah, I'm getting one tomorrow. Don't tread on me. Doesn't Aaron from, what's his name, from Stained, Aaron Lewis, doesn't he have Don't Tread on Me tattooed on his neck?
You should get a Colombian
I could
necktie tattoo.
As a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, I would never have Don't Tread on Me tattooed on my neck because it would just be way too inviting for people to choke me. Mm-hmm. That's all they would be going for now.
Right.
They're just trying to choke
Bullseye.
me. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you with that stupid thing on your neck. I'm going to strangle him. If I saw a guy with a Don't Tread on Me thing on his neck, I might have to strangle him. It would feel extra exciting to put the choke on him.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful voice, that guy. He turned to a country singer. It's very interesting. Like, he's like a pro-Trump, God, guns, and country type dude.
He's who is he?
Stained. The guy from the lead singer of Stained.
Yeah, I like Stained.
Yeah. No, he's talented as fuck, man. But he's like very politically active. He's a country boy. But I think it's I think it's legit. I think that's actually who he is. I don't think he's like affecting a thing. I think that's who he is. Like when you listen to his lyrics and his songs, like it resonates more the way he sings now. I think he just had a great voice.
Yeah.
And he sung for Stained, and he's like, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Get Don't Tread on Me tattooed on my neck.
All right.
But that's a guy that doesn't need a plan B.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't
Because he
tread
used to
on-
be.
That's an aggressive thing to have on your neck.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like.
What do you think you would get if you got a neck tattoo? Like an owl on your neck?
I think I might get that. Whatever the logo is for the guy who was the Native American comedian. What do you call that?
The Heyoka?
Yeah, I mean,
Is
maybe
there
the
a
Heyoka.
logo
Is there a
for a
logo for
Heyoka?
Heyoka? That would be a fucking badass tattoo.
Ooh, yeah. See if there's a Lakota symbol for Heyoka. Interesting.
Yeah.
The Lakota, the Lakota are the Sioux. It's the same Indians.
Right.
They called them, the Sioux was like a Native American word. I think it was for enemy. So other people called them the Sioux. They called
Right.
themselves the Lakota.
A Crazy Horse was a Lakota,
Yeah, I think so.
and I think Sitting Bull might have been also.
The fascinating thing about those cultures is that is that what it looks like? What is that? Heyoka ideas. Oh, huh.
That one looks cool. The War Shield.
A guy riding backwards.
That would be cultural appropriation.
No, I think that's like that's the goof. If you go back to that picture, is like that as a Heyoka. Like he's riding. Go to the image. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's riding backwards with a spear pointing in the wrong direction
Naked.
on a horse. He's being a goof.
Yeah.
Like that's a guy joking around. So that's the idea behind it. So the Heyoka would like crack everybody up.
Oh, that one's good. What about the guy with the flowers on his head? Stripes.
Right there?
No, two to the left. Yeah, that guy.
Oh, so it's like a jester.
Yeah.
So they've like combined things.
Right.
Heyoka as an archetype, harnessing the power of infinite mask wearing. Okay. I think we stumbled into a bizarre community.
Did you see the guy that got behind Kim Kardashian yesterday and smelled her ass? He got tackled. She was like coming out of her car, and some fucking lunatic went up and smelled her ass.
Really?
Jamie, you got to find that clip.
Jesus Christ.
You got to think, look, everyone's got a fetish of some type. You got to, if you look hard enough, but to own it like that, to go, I need to smell Kim's ass.
It says this video I found is from 2016, but this is probably it.
Oh yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
I thought it just
God.
happened. Somebody just sent it to me.
That's horrible. What a dick. Oh my God. What a dick.
I mean, what a life she lives. You can't even get out of your car without somebody sniffing your ass. Everyone's taking your picture.
God, this got to be horrible.
Oh, Jesus.
Imagine thinking that's funny to do, too.
I don't think he thought it was funny. I think that that
He
was
needed
his
a sniff?
thing. He needed a sniff. He
Why do
needs
you
to
think
get in
that?
there.
You don't think like you lost a bet?
No, I think that there's guys that like to be humiliated, and that's a pretty and that's part of it. Like he's permanently shamed, but he's been thinking about sniffing her ass for years.
Yeah.
He stepped up.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
really inhaling. Yeah.
So, what do you think that is, like, as a law? Is that he looks like a guy who would sniff an ass, too. Look at him.
Yeah, I don't think
You
he
think
broke
that's
any
a law?
laws. No.
No? It's not assault unless you touch someone, right?
I think they beat him up though afterwards. So they definitely dove on him. He got jumped by her security.
I wonder what what's within their rights to do.
Right.
You know?
I think that's in their rights. He broke the plane.
Right. And then, are they allowed to beat the shit out of him? Or are you supposed to just hold on to him? What are you supposed to do? Wait till he tries to hit you?
Dude, whatever
And hit him
happened?
back?
I mean, what happened with Chappelle? They beat the fuck out of that dude.
Yeah, they beat the fuck out of that dude. Yeah.
I mean, is he allowed to sue for that?
Well, he's in jail for murder.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Or attempted murder? Attempted murder, right?
Yeah, this guy was.
He stabbed his roommate, like in December of the year.
This guy that did it to Kim Kardashian, he got in trouble for doing it to somebody else too.
Oh, so he's just an ass sniffer.
Yeah.
Is it a prank thing that he does?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
There's a video of 5 times he tried to do it.
That dude needs to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
You do that to the wrong guy, you know?
Yep.
Do that to Francis Ngannou's girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, do it to the wrong guy. Do it to the wrong guy.
All right.
You're going to get fucked up. That's dangerous. Some surfer, who's apparently like a famous surfer, just got killed in a bar fight where some guy punched him and he fell and hit his head and died. And I talk about this all the time, that people think it's safe to hit someone and just knock them out in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dangerous. On the street, it's so dangerous to knock someone out.
And you're going to spend a lot of time in jail thinking about that 1 second you thought that would be a good idea.
Yeah. It's people think like they watch movies and they think people get knocked out. It's no big deal. People die all the time when they hit their head.
There was this kid in my town who got, just 2 guys. They got in a fist fight. He punched him once. The kid fell down. He was fucked up for the rest of his life. He was just off. He's like the guy in your town now who's off.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real thing, man. Car accidents, guys who played football, sometimes their head just gets broken.
Yeah.
Fighters, it just gets broken.
Right.
It's like, you're not coming back. You're this guy now
Right.
forever.
Yeah.
But, Kevin James, when he was a bouncer at a bar in New York, and one of the guys that he worked with got in a fight with some patron, knocked him out, and died. The guy died. He punched the guy. Guy was a drunk, fell, hit his head, and then he went to jail.
For how long?
I don't know. It was years, though.
A lot of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like 7 years or something like that.
Right.
I don't know if it was manslaughter or second-degree murder or what they convict you on, but fuck, man. I was watching a video of these guys that robbed some kid, 21-year-old kid in New York, just walked up to him and just blasted him in the face and knocked him unconscious, and the kid falls onto the curb and hits his head, and he was dead in 5 days. And, they're trying to find the kids who did it. I don't know if they found him, but it's like, imagine. They got $20 from him. They stole $20. Just knocking some out and not understanding. Like, you might as well just be shooting them because you could very easily kill someone this way. Very easily. You're falling so far. When you get knocked out and you're standing up, you're falling so far and you're hitting your head. Like, if you just fall 2 feet, dead weight, and hit your head, you could get fucked up, man. Think of something hitting you as hard as the earth. Hitting your head from 2 feet away. Oh my God, it would be devastating. Now imagine it happening from 5, 6 feet. It's like, and you're getting KO'd, so there's momentum. You're falling backwards. It's not just as simple as just gravity. There's actual momentum too. So maybe it's double the power. And
there's
you're
also a lot
bouncing
of
your head
people
off a
talking about
curb.
like neck punches now, throat punches instead of punching someone in the face, and they think, well, yeah, but
Who are you talking to? A lot of people are talking about neck punches.
I saw it on the internet. I saw this compilation of people getting throat punches, and they just like street fights where people are intentionally doing it. That's just as dangerous because you could break the windpipe.
Nah, I think you're probably okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's as dangerous. You can get knocked out by getting hit in the neck for sure. You definitely can get your neck hurt. But I wonder if you get knocked out as easily. The chin is where it's really dangerous. Because you get hit in the chin, a lot of times people just shut off.
Yeah.
Or you get hit in the temple, a lot of times people get shut off. And when you get shut off and you fall back, that's the most dangerous. You definitely, it's not good to get punched in the neck, but it's not like a smart strategy, or boxers just be punching each other in the neck. They kind of a little bit do that, but it's just really like accidentally. They're trying to hit the chin. Kicks, though. Some of the best head kick knockouts, guys will land a kick on the neck, and they're like right here, and almost
Behind
like
the ear?
behind your head. Yeah. Because if you think of someone throwing their shin up at you, and where their shin is going to contact with the side of your neck, that shuts people right off.
Yeah.
That's how Kamaru Usman got knocked out by Leon Edwards. Same kind of. I think that one actually might have hit his head, but it was like the head, like right where the neck meets the head, like. Getting hit in the head is fucking horrible for you.
Yeah.
So back to that Brett Favre thing. Guarantee that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
In fact, O.J. Simpson's people said that if he was to go to trial today, they would definitely bring up CTE in his defense.
Mm-hmm.
But then you'd have to admit he killed them, right? Because there's no reason why he has rage if he didn't really stab somebody.
Right.
Like, what are you saying?
I heard there was cocaine involved also.
Oh, really?
I heard that there was evidence that was not allowed about a cocaine dealer who had sold him a pretty good quantity of cocaine just before the killing. Allegedly. I should have to say allegedly.
Why would they suppress that?
Dude, I went to play golf. You remember Jackie Flynn?
Yeah.
Great comic out of Boston. And we go up to this golf course, Hanson Dam, and it's the two of us. And we show up, and we show up as a twosome. They pair you up with two other people to play. So we sign in, and the starter goes, okay, you two are going to play with these two guys over here. And we look over, and it's fucking O.J. Simpson.
Oh, my God.
And another dude, and I
What
look
year
up
was
at
this?
It was after the murders, but before he went to jail. So we were, I just look at the skies like, this is...
After the murders, before he went to jail, so before the trial?
No, after the trial, but before he went to jail for stealing his own merchandise.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he wasn't allowed at country clubs anymore. You know, he used to play at Bel Air and, you know, Riviera, all the best country clubs. And now he's playing at the same shitty public course I am. And so I just look at the skies like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. This is going to be my Tonight Show story someday, you know? And Jackie looks at him and he goes, I ain't playing with that fucking murderer. Fuck that. He's a murderer. And O.J. just turned and walked away, and I just looked at Jackie like, how could you do this to me, man? How could you steal? The moment that we're on like the 11th hole, and I'm standing over a putt, and I just look at him and I go, O.J., if I sink this, you got to tell me if you did it.
Imagine we had a video of that.
Yeah.
Jackie fucked you.
Yeah. I'll never forgive him.
Were you hesitant at all to play with him?
No, I was very excited. I'd seen him at the driving range there before. Would you play with him?
I don't play golf. I play pool with him. I would just to try to like I've met people that killed people before.
You have?
Yeah, sure. But not like that. You know, I've met people that kill people in war.
Yeah.
That's a different animal.
That's different than chopping someone's heads off with a knife.
Dakota Meyer has one of the craziest stories about killing a guy with a rock overseas.
Really?
Yeah, the guy, he lost his gun, is in hand-to-hand combat situation with the guy. The guy's grabbing at his gear off of his vest. He gets the guy to the ground and kills him with a rock. Yeah. And he talked about it. He's like, in that moment, he's like, that me and this guy, we don't even know each other. I don't know this guy. Like, I didn't have hate for this guy, but I just had to do it, and he had to try to kill me too. And how insane that situation is. Like you know, you're from here, and then all of a sudden you're there, and you're in this guy's town or whatever, and you're a part of a military, some sort of an action that they're doing that day. And you find yourself in a hand-to-hand combat with some guy. You don't know his language. You don't know his history. You don't know anything about him. You just know it's you or him. And you kill him with a rock.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than getting coked up and stabbing a waiter and cutting your wife's head off.
Yeah.
And then doing music videos afterwards.
Yeah. And running fantasy football leagues and making jokes.
You ever see the video that he did?
Which one?
The rap video where he had a bunch of chicks around him. They're all topless.
No.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
this in his Miami days, or is he still in his Miami days?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
Where does he? I know he moved
I know he
to
was in
Florida.
Miami for a while, and he was definitely allegedly doing a lot of cocaine.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Imagine doing coke with OJ.
Oh, that's a good night.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
How wild it would get if he got a little loose lips. You think he even believes he killed them at this point in time? He might not even believe he did it. He might have been so he might have told that lie so many times that that's his truth.
Yeah.
You know? It might be like you might never get to the real man. You might just he might be like a politician. Like everywhere he goes, like he's just from waking up in the morning till going to bed at night. It's just he's putting on an act, You never get to the real OJ. But a couple of fucking Hennessy's, few lines.
Lines.
Wow.
Nice fat blunt.
Woo!
Sitting in the back of the limo with a couple topless girls. OJ, tell me.
You want to see the video of him
Yeah,
rapping?
hell yeah.
Find the video of OJ rapping. This is like after he was acquitted. He was doing a bunch of different things, and then he did some sort of rap music video.
It was part of a TV show thing he called Juiced, it's labeled as a TV special, but I think it was one of those like Too Hot for TV DVDs they were trying to sell.
Oh, like Girls Gone Wild.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why there's naked chicks in it.
Do you remember the Jamie Kennedy experiment?
Of course.
Jamie Kennedy is like the most underrated prank show guy in history because people don't talk about him like when they talk about the greats.
He kind of happened. He happened in between Tom Green and Jackass was Jamie Kennedy.
Well, he had this thing called Guys Gone Nuts, and it was like the response to Girls Gone Wild. So this is like the whole series is this. But at one point in time, they're doing a music video. I know we pulled it up before. Jamie.
Yeah, but the thing is, I remember now that when I found it, it was not on YouTube.
Oh, so here it is right here.
But I found it on YouTube.
Oh, there it is. Titties. So you can still have titties on YouTube?
No,
That's
this
good.
is just slipping through.
Oh, man, we're going to ruin it.
I'm not
We're
playing
going to ruin it
for anyone.
But we're going to ruin it. They're going to find it. The YouTube people are going to find it. So these gals danced around with their boobies out, and there's a rap song somewhere in there.
Yeah, that was not it.
There it is. That's it.
No.
When I'm on the field, I'm like a lion going loose. Better shoot me with a tranquilizer dart. Don't be fool stupid. I'm not a Simpson named Bart. I'm not a cartoon. You're silly baboon. I'm like a tycoon in the state of monsoons. Can't you see the only way I live my life is large? And I got the most games with 200 plus yards. Some cop shot at me.
I got juice.
What? All right, God damn it. Buy some oranges.
Like America's most wanted.
Back in Buffalo, 1, 2.
All right, I can't.
What? What was that? He showed the Bronco
Yeah, with a bullet hole.
Oh, that's
in it.
part of one of the skits, probably earlier on.
and
Yeah.
him chasing somebody with a golf club.
I don't think that was him.
Oh.
I think that was somebody else chasing somebody, wasn't it?
Come on, OJ, just sign the ball and go away.
Gotcha.
You've just been juiced.
He was pretending he was going to kill them,
Oh, wow.
and they're running away from him. It was a prank. I thought you were talking about the other thing where people were...
Wow.
Maybe he just did something which, like, he accused them of hitting his ball and then got mad.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. It's fine.
Oh, my God. So it was a prank show
Yeah.
from a guy that you knew was a murderer,
Uh-huh.
along with a rap video with topless ladies.
What if he didn't do it?
Imagine if Bigfoot's real. Imagine if all those people are telling the truth.
Yeah. What if you're OJ? You're this guy that was in Naked Gun and you were in Hertz commercials running through the airport.
Right.
And you were a superstar athlete and you were a great dude to everybody that ever talked to him.
Right.
Great dude. This was an aberration. This killing made no sense. And what if it didn't happen? What if there really was somebody else and this is all hanging on him? That would be crazy.
If it's like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a Knives Out movie.
Right.
Like they've just like set him up the entire time. Mm-hmm. Like a really bad book.
Oh, who would stand to gain from that?
Yeah, some bad evil detective.
Yeah. Well, what was his name?
Mark Furman.
Yeah, Mark Furman.
Imagine.
He was a racist. That was was
Yeah.
OJ's defense.
Yeah. Imagine if Mark Furman's just sitting there. Ha ha ha
Yeah.
ha ha. I tricked them all.
Yeah.
No, I think he probably did it.
Well,
he wrote a book called
yeah.
If I Did It. Somebody gave me a copy of that, and I'm pretty sure my wife threw it out. I was trying to find it the other day. She's sneaky like that. She's like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking want this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he described in it what if, and
Yeah.
he described the murder from his point of view.
He signed it. I had a signed copy of the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably not a good thing to have around.
Probably not.
Yeah. Maybe it was good she threw it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I never even read it. I just point to people. I go, see that? Look at that. I forget who gave it to me. Might have been Sakura. Someone like that.
What are you reading right now?
In the middle of I haven't been reading. I've been just doing audiobooks, but I'm in the middle of you know that movie The Gray Man that was with Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling. I always confuse those handsome fellas.
Poor bastards.
Ryan Gosling and who else was in it? Chris Evans, Captain America.
Uh-huh. Handsome movie.
The movie the movie that they did for Netflix, like one of the most expensive action movies ever. Fun movie, but very different than the book. The book is dark. The book is about like a real CIA hitman.
Oh, yeah?
That they found when he was like 19 years old. He had murdered some drug dealers or something like that, and they incorporated him into the CIA program where they trained him to kill people.
No shit.
Yeah.
True story?
No, I don't think it's
okay.
true story, but I think there's some basis in history that they have done things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's the CIA's MO.
Yeah. Well, they most certainly have hired killers
Yeah.
and, contractors and stuff like that. I know people have done that. But this book is about this one guy who's the elite of the elite, the Gray Man. It's pretty intense.
That's cool.
There's a series of them. They get a little... it's like it's hard to keep a good idea going. After a while, like, how come this guy's not dead?
Yeah.
Like, this is a little crazy. Kills everybody, barely gets shot.
Yeah. I know. The crazy... I just watched the... Jeff Bridges did one called The Old Man, this series.
Oh, yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
I watched it up until a point. I'm like, come on.
That's what I was just going to say. I bailed out on episode 7 out of 8. I was just like, no. And the first episode was fucking great.
Yeah, the
Some
first
series
few
have
episodes.
a perfect first episode. Yeah.
The first few episodes were great, but it got to a point where like they would have found him. How are you just driving there?
Yeah.
You can't just drive places anymore.
It was implausible.
Not only that, you have a car that has GPS on it. Like, this is nonsense.
And why is the woman that he kidnapped being left alone in his apartment and she's not calling the police?
Because he fucks her good.
Because
Fucks
he's
the
80.
shit out of her.
He's 80 years old.
He
He's
does
not
his
fucking
best, though.
anything.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. He gives it to him.
He's getting B12 shots.
Yeah, he's ready to go. He's got those
Yeah.
killer dogs. It would have been a really good movie that would have ended like No Country for Old Men, where it had like a weird ending.
Yeah.
That would have been a good movie. But as a series, it just like too much talking and explaining things, not enough showing me things means that you didn't know how to resolve things, and like you got a little television-ish for a while.
It was bad writing.
But it wasn't in the beginning.
No, it was good
In
at
the beginning.
first.
It's like they had a great concept, and like you bought into it. Even the way he survived and the way he was managed to thrive, you bought into it. Up until he kidnaps her and takes her across the country, and you're like, get the fuck out.
Right.
They're
And
gonna
also-
find you, bro. You can't just do that. They'll
Yeah.
find. There's only so many roads. Like, where are you going?
Yeah.
There's
also,
so many roads.
you get these two actors together and you don't put them in the same scene. What's the guy from Third Rock? What's that actor's name?
John Lithgow.
You get John
Yeah.
Lithgow and Jeff Bridges together, and they're never on screen together.
Right.
No.
Right. Well, I think it could have been, like I said, it could have been a great movie. And just after a while, it just seemed to get a little slippery.
I don't mind Liam Neeson doing action either. I mean, he's getting up there, and I still buy it. He's fucking good.
He's good. What is the main one that he did?
Taken?
Taken, yeah.
Yeah.
When he calls the guy up. People have used that for so many reels. I have a particular
Yeah.
set of skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought that. I love Daniel Craig as James Bond. I like
Sure.
a good fucking assassin movie.
Yeah.
A good badass movie.
An
They're fun.
aging action
Yeah.
star. I actually like that.
Did you see the video of the 92-year-old man fucking this young guy up on the street?
No.
Go to Lennox Lewis's Instagram page. There's a video of these guys pick a fight with I think he's 92. He's 92 years old. And he fucks these guys up. He takes his shirt off and starts boxing these guys in the street.
What country?
I don't know. I don't know where it was. See if you can find it. Just pull up Lennox Lewis's page and I'll show you which one it is. That's it right there. So this, does it say? It says 92-year-old retired professional boxer. So these people start getting into an argument and start pushing each other around. It eventually turns back around normal. And so it's in front of a McDonald's. So they're pushing this guy around. And so this guy steps in. The guy with the black shirt, he's the one who's going to get fucked up. This young guy. So he hits him. Boom. The old dude just flatlined him. No, it gets better. It gets better. Look at him. This guy's 92 years old. He flatlines that guy. And look at him. He's dancing around. I mean, this is an old dude and a young guy that he just cracked. Look at them stand in front of each other. The guy tries to take him out. Boom! Drops him again. And now the old dude's getting wild. Now he's getting wild. Look, he takes his shirt off. The fuck out of here. Let's go, bitch. Takes his shirt off. Now this kid's squaring up with him. He's fucked. Bam!
Whoa!
Look at this. 92. And he's pushing everybody the fuck away from him. Get up, bitch. You want some more? Look at this. And this guy's still, look at how he's standing, squared off, has no idea how to box.
And the other two guys stayed down.
Stay down, bitch.
They were down.
Look at this old dude, man.
Love
92
it.
years old.
He looks like Russian or something.
Probably. They age better.
And he probably thought, you know what, I'm 92. If I die, fuck it. I'm going to have some fun.
Yeah, let's die like this.
Yeah.
But when you see that guy standing with his legs like squared off in front of him with his hands up, he has zero idea how to fight.
Yeah.
It was the perfect moment for that guy to do that.
I thought he was going to start hitting the women because they were after he knocked out the three guys, women started coming at him.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's
where shit
a
gets
sticky
dangerous.
situation to
What
be
do
in.
you do? You don't want to let a woman punch you.
Nope.
Women can knock you out.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, there's women out there that can fucking knock you out.
Hell yeah.
Especially if you don't see it coming. Like they sucker punch you from the side.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't let them hit you. But if you hit them.
It's all on video.
Oh, my God. And if you knock a woman out, she falls and hits her head. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. And she
That's
dies.
bad.
Oh, fuck. Doesn't matter who jumped you. You punch a woman in the head and knock her out.
I punched a woman one time.
Oh, my God. What happened?
It was Halloween, and I was like 13, and we were running around our neighborhood. You know, we all had on. Everybody dressed. You call it bums. We used to say bums.
Right.
But isn't that funny? We used to dress as homeless people.
Yeah, that was like a costume.
That
You
was
could
a
be a bum
costume to
for
be a
Halloween.
bum.
Yeah,
You would never see that today.
it's true.
You know, we used
That's
to wear
so
like
true.
ratty ass clothes, and we
Yeah.
put dirt on our face. And there was a girl, and she had, I thought it was a guy, and she had on a mask and sprayed me in the eyes with we used to take shaving cream, and we would put an aerosol top on a shaving cream can, and it would spray the shaving cream like 20 feet. It was awesome. And we'd bring eggs, and, you know, we'd go crazy. And so she sprayed in my eyes, so I can't see that well. And I chase what I thought was him, knocked him down. I'm sitting on top of him, and I punch him in the face. And then everybody's screaming, and they pull me up like, dude, it's a girl. And I was like, fuck. So I just fucking run away. I run away. And it turns out it was a girl from the next town over,
Oh, my
from where I grew
God.
up. She was one town over. And then that winter, we were at the Tarrytown Lakes, which is, they would freeze over in the winter, and they had these big telephone poles, and they had floodlights, and they had speakers, and they would play AM radio, and they had a big heated shack. You'd change your skates, and during the day you play hockey, and then at night we'd all show up, and they would light it, and they'd stay up until like 11 o'clock at night, and that was like our social life in the winter. We'd skate. And, you know, you'd hide some beers in the snowbank, and you'd get fucked up, and you'd try to make out with the girl. And so it was great. So I go there, and I'm like 13, and they go, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so. She's got a crush on you. I was like, oh, where's she from? She's from the next town over. Yeah, you punched her in the face on Halloween. And I was like, dude, that says a lot about her family life, you know? So,
Well, maybe she felt bad that she sprayed you in the face, and then she thought while you were punching her, you're kind of cute. And
He's got pretty eyes and a good right hook.
Did you apologize to her?
Oh yeah. No, I felt terrible about it.
Did you apologize right afterwards, or did you wait till you met her at the lake?
I didn't know her. She was the next time. The next time I saw her
that
was at the
next
lake.
time you saw her.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then somebody told me that she had a crush on me. So I'm talking to her, and then all of a sudden, my friend, quote unquote friend, skated as hard as he could while I was talking to her, and he lined me up just because that's what we did to each other.
Oh, no.
And I got knocked down, and I couldn't get up. I was winded, like I was down. And then I find out next week, and I was kind of into her. She was pretty. And I found out the next week she had a crush on the guy that
knocked
me out.
Oh god! Of course she did. She
Yeah.
likes abuse.
Yeah.
She's all for the chaos. She probably would have been a wild one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
What is this?
I don't want to ruin the illusion of this video, but he's not 92 years old.
Oh, how old is he?
53.
Ah!
Oh, he's younger than me. He looks like shit.
He looks like a
He looks like
92-year-old
shit.
man.
He moves like shit. God damn it! That guy's younger than me.
That's
If I moved like that, I'd
hilarious.
be fucking embarrassed.
He does. He stands straight up. His
Looks like a
back
dead
looks
man.
atrophied.
Yeah, he looks like a dead man.
Yeah.
People said he is this was in Ashford in the UK, and he was like an older gypsy man that people recognized.
Oh,
Gypsies, man.
they're wild folks.
Love the gypsies.
The fucking Gypsy King.
Dude, do you watch Peaky Blinders?
No, I heard it's great though.
It's all about the gypsies.
Is it really great?
Yeah, it is up there with,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones
Really?
and Sopranos, like in terms of 1 hour dramas. It's not quite as good, but it is fucking cool. The guy who's the lead is just one of the most badass protagonists in any drama you've ever
Really?
seen in your life.
Okay, I got to get on there.
And it taps into that world of like they live in I think it's Birmingham, which I guess has a lot of Irish that have moved in and a lot of like gypsy influence. So that's their dark side. They go there. They kind of dip into the gypsy world a little bit. It's cool.
We got a Gypsy heavyweight champion in the world.
No shit.
Yeah, the boxer.
Really?
Tyson Fury. He's the Gypsy King.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I knew that. Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
Really?
He's a gypsy. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
unquestionably. Unquestionably one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time.
Damn.
And he's the Gypsy King. And he talks the best shit. He talks the most shit. He's hilarious.
No.
It's really funny, man.
It's hard to be a gypsy now because they won't let you just live wherever you want.
They
Gypsies used to they were nomads. They would just wander. They would sharpen knives. They'd go to places and sharpen knives.
But they do just bring their caravans places and park them.
Yeah.
Like, that does still happen.
But I think they're having a harder time finding places.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I had a friend who lived in the UK, and one of her friends from the UK was telling her that this band of gypsies just moved into like an abandoned lot on their street. And they just pulled in and just, we live here now.
No
and then they couldn't get them
shit.
out. They couldn't get them to move out. And these people lived in like this well-to-do neighborhood. The gypsies
Where is
just
this?
moved in somewhere in the UK.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't remember the story, but I remember thinking like, oh, like how does that work?
Yeah.
Like, what do they do? It's like you can't get rid of them. They're allowed to do that in certain places.
Shit.
Yeah.
What was the movie where wasn't Brad Pitt?
Yeah. Snatch.
Snatch. That was good.
Great fucking
That was
movie.
A really good movie.
That was one of Guy Ritchie's
Guy Ritchie.
fucking classics.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. Fucking Brad Pitt, man. He's the real deal.
Oh my God, he's been in everything.
Yeah. He's done some very
That
fucking
poor
cool
guy.
characters.
That Angelina Jolie thing.
Yeah.
Imagine that trial. Because you think that the fucking Amber Heard trial was wild?
Yeah.
Imagine that trial. Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck, man?
Who had better sex with her? Him or what was
Billy
it?
Ray?
Billy Bob Thornton? Because Brad physically had it over him, but Billy Bob was wearing the blood around his neck. They were doing some
cut each
dark
other's
shit.
skin and dripped blood into vials and
Yeah.
kept it on their necks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tattooed shit about each other on their bodies.
Yeah.
I think all
That's-
of us fall short of that relationship in
Good.
terms of passion.
Good. That's just unsustainable. It's like when you see people sprinting, look, he's smiling, she's kissing him. I bet
Yeah.
he was having a good fucking time, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he had a great time.
For as long as it lasted.
She's one of the sexiest women ever.
She's pretty hot.
Oh,
Yeah, my friend Tony always says that that psychotic and erotic, they're very closely related.
Yeah.
You gotta always take that into consideration. Like some of the most psycho chicks are the most erotic, and it's like not necessarily good.
Amy Winehouse, she must have been wild.
She's probably so drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, the heroin doesn't.
Drunk
help.
heroin life does not
Yeah.
lead itself to like a lot of like wild sexual exploits and chaos. It seems like it's a lot of napping and throwing up in the sink.
Yeah, Sid and Nancy didn't fuck.
If they did, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. They probably smelled.
Sid, take a shower.
Fuck you. Yeah. Those kind of relationships, though, like they don't have like a long shelf life. It's like you're sprinting.
Yeah.
You're tattooing your names on each other immediately and dripping blood. And where are you going to go from there?
Yeah.
Where's that going to go?
Doesn't matter.
Eventually, that's going to peter out. You don't even cut yourself for me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on. I thought we were done.
Yeah.
I thought I did it already. I got your fucking names on my arm. Come on, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You don't care anymore. You're just DMing a hose on Instagram. Come on.
You haven't sacrificed an animal for me in weeks.
Ugh. I mean, that kind of a relationship, like if you get involved in that kind of crazy level of relationship where you're cutting each other and carrying each other's blood around, like where does that go?
Yeah.
You got to look at that in terms of a long-term project. You start out sprinting like that. Like, how is that sustainable?
I always feel like that about ass sex. You know, like save it. You know, you're not gonna. You know, like I think you should maybe wait till you're 65, and then finally you got her doggy style, and you go to put it in, and she just goes, finally.
Oh no. You're like, I wasted all these years of butt fucking. That's a thing that people either like or they don't like, right? Some people like it. Some people don't like it at all.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be good for you. Like
Oh,
Dr. Drew was
no.
talking about all the dangers involved in that. I was like, hey.
Prolapsed anus.
Oh, my God. Tom Segura has sent me and showed me some of the most horrific things that they show on Your Mom's House Live when they do those shows.
Yeah.
And one of them was these two guys that had prolapsed anuses. They're fisting, and they're pulling their anuses out, their prolapsed anuses out, and they were rubbing them together. So, like, this pink sock from one guy's butt, and one guy, like, apparently, like, he was internally bleeding because they're doing such rigorous, awful stuff to their assholes.
Yeah.
That everything was like a bright, dark red, and the doctor was like, that guy probably died that night.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to live from that one.
Yeah.
Like, the damage you're doing. You're basically
think about
like
wiping your
rupturing
ass.
organs.
How do you wipe your ass after you take a dump?
How do you heal from that where you can shit again?
Yeah.
Like you're tearing your asshole apart, and then poop has to come through there on the way out. And when it's all broken up inside, and the poop is like rubbing up against that, they're like, how do you get infected? Like, what happens there?
I got a friend who's gay. He's never had anything in his ass.
Congratulations. To
He's
him.
a non-anal gay guy.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I met these two guys at a show once in Connecticut, and I had a joke about two guys having anal sex, and they wanted to come up to me after the show, and they go, "We thought you were really funny, but we want you to know that a lot of gay people don't have anal sex." I go, "Okay." I go, "But some of them do, right? It's still a thing." And he's like, "Yeah, they do." I go, "You just want me to know that you're not one of those people?" I go, "Duly noted." I'm like, I don't know where we're going with this. He just wanted me to know that there's a whole community of gay folks that don't have butt sex.
Right.
I'm like, okay. But it's not like I'm making this up, right? Like, people do fuck each other in the butt.
Yeah, I've
It's a real
seen the
thing.
videos.
I've seen the videos. It's real.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You just telling me?
There's girls that don't either, but I know a lot that do.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, I've heard girls yell it out in comedy clubs. Like, a comic was on stage and he was talking about, it's like, some girls love anal. Me!
Oh, yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're throwing up the bat signal.
Yeah.
I mean, a girl yelling that out, like, how much attention does she need?
Right.
Woof.
Damn.
What kind of choices has she made other than that bad one?
Louis used to have a funny bit about anal sex. He's like, I never got it. He goes, you're an inch away from the greatest thing in the world. I did a couple shows with him in Canada. We went up to Vancouver.
Oh, yeah?
And did this theater, and man, his new hour is fucking
Very good.
It's so good. Have you seen him?
Yeah,
do
I
it?
saw him at the Creek in the Cave.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so good. I mean, I wish I could sit here and quote it, but I know he's going to probably put it out on his next special.
Yeah, he's still refining it, and
Yeah.
fucking around with it, and he was working on new stuff and playing around when he was here. But it's interesting to watch him work again. He's freer now than he's ever been before.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's gone through the worst, and
Right.
now he's on the other end of it, and he's just still doing the same kind of comedy. Really funny, really ridiculous.
And he's just the fucking greatest guy. We had such a good time. In Vancouver, mushrooms are legal. So I walked into this shop called the Fungi Shop. Wow. It had the mushrooms on it, and there's a girl working behind the counter, and she's got on like a yellow tube top and fucking pink hair and piercings, and she's gorgeous.
Good
and
for her.
she's like the shroom, tender.
Wow.
And I got an eighth of mushrooms, like fresh out of the field, and I took them. I don't think Louis took them, and then we went to an art museum, and just when they kicked in, I was in the art museum, and then we went to a brunch, and then we started walking, and like we got to a bus stop, and I go, let's just sit here and look at these people, and then a bus pulled up. I go, let's get on the bus, and we got on the bus, and the bus went hurtling out of Vancouver, like went over a bridge to an island, and we just got off. And we're just wandering around, and we went to like a marina, and we're looking at the boats and talking to people, and then we found a bridge that took us back to Vancouver, and it was like 6 hours, and then when we got back to town, we realized there was a film noir festival that was happening at this little indie theater that we had seen before, and we walk in, and the movie was starting in 5 minutes, and we saw a double feature film noir as I'm coming down.
Wow.
And I checked my steps at the end of the day, and I did 3,200 steps on mushrooms in Vancouver. It was one of the greatest days of my life.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
What were the movies? Do you remember?
Yeah, one was called something Highway. It was in San Francisco, and it was about these guys that had gotten a big load of apples, and they were bringing it from the country to San Francisco. Yeah. Thieves Highway.
Was it good?
Oh, it's fucking good. There was one scene where this guy is engaged to this girl, and she's like, she seems really sweet, and they kind of play it that everything is that everything is really cool between them. And then he meets a prostitute in San Francisco, and he sleeps with her, and he's like, you're after my money, and she's like, yeah. At least you know that with me. You don't even realize it with her. And so then later on in the movie, he loses all his money, and the fiance fucking leaves him. And the prostitute just looks at him, and she goes, aren't women great? And the whole movie theater, it was film noir, so it's dark and it's slow and it's quiet. And she said that line, and like 150 people fucking doubled over laughing. And it was so perfect. Aren't women great?
Yeah. It's human nature.
Yeah.
There's always going to be wolves. There's always going to be wolves, and there's always going to be sheep.
Yeah.
And if you're in that situation and you don't recognize the signs, someone's getting over on you.
Yeah. But you know what? He married that hooker at the end of the movie.
Did he?
Well, he went away with her. Yeah, they
maybe it
happily
worked
ever
out.
after. Yeah.
Maybe it worked out.
Hooker
maybe
with a
she-
heart. We all love the hooker in the heart.
Oh, yeah.
Hooker with a
Heart of
heart in the
gold.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty woman, you know?
Did you ever believe her as a prostitute in that movie?
It seems unlikely.
Yeah.
She seems a little too emotionally stable.
Yeah. She seemed a little too confident.
She seems like not scarred up. But that's what everybody wants, right? Like you want like someone to genuinely be a good person in a bad circumstance who can change.
Yeah.
And if love can see through everything.
Right. And you can see that it's not her background that you're marrying.
But pretty odd.
Yeah.
But the gigolo with a heart of gold, that one's not real. right? The male gigolo that seduces the wealthy woman.
That was his other movie. That's right. He was
Yeah.
in 2 hooker movies.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was a
dating
gigolo.
one and he was one.
Yeah, he was one. Remember?
Call Me. Remember that Blondie song was fucking perfect at
Yeah.
the beginning of that movie as he's laying out his ties and his shirt.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. He was fucking cool.
Yeah, he was cool as fuck.
Him and Mickey Rourke were the 2 coolest actors of that day.
Oh yeah, Officer and a Gentleman. Richard Gere was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he seemed to get a little too Satnam in his later years.
Too what?
A little too namaste.
Yeah.
A little too, like, remember when he went up on stage after 9/11? It's like, we should choose love. And they were like, boo, fuck you.
We're not in love right now. We'll do love in like a couple years.
Yeah, they
right
didn't-
now we need to hate for a
They
little
didn't
while.
want to hear that. They were
Yeah.
booing him. But, you know, he was trying to, like, talk peace and love to people.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear it.
Right. What about Mickey Rourke in Pope of Greenwich Village?
Oh, my God.
That was a bad
And Eric Roberts.
character.
They got my
thumb,
fucking thumb, Charlie. Charlie. They got my thumb, Charlie.
That's one of those movies that I haven't told my son to watch yet because, like, that's one of the. You'll find this with your daughters as they get older, is when they get to start to watch, like, the first time you sit and watch The Godfather with them and movies like that. Well, you probably had it with.
I've
like,
tried with The Shining. They're like, boring.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they think it takes too long. Boring.
Wow, that's a tough audience.
Bro, they're on TikTok. They need to be
right.
stimulated instantaneously.
Right.
It's hard for them to watch something. What is this?
This is the Pope of Greenwich Village.
Oh, yeah. They got my thumb, Charlie. They cut my fucking thumb off, Charlie.
That guy's a fucking psycho, man. He'll chop you up. Oh, man, it hurts so much.
They give you anything for this?
Yeah.
What'd they give you?
Yeah. They gave me this stuff. They gave me this stuff at the hospital. But I took all of it. I've been taking it all day.
You took
and I ain't
all of
done
it?
a fucking thing for
You
me.
took all of this?
I took it all, man.
Holy,
Charlie,
Holy, what can I do for you?
I didn't do nothing,
Holy, what
man.
can I do for you?
It was my life, man. I didn't want to give the poor bastard up, but it was my life, Charlie. Your Barney ain't family. I don't know him that much.
Hey, Barney, what about me, Paulie? Paulie, I'm family. Did they press you for me?
Yeah, they pressed me. They pressed me hard. They took my thumb, Charlie.
That's a hug. That's a hug.
Bro.
With the hole in the face. Yeah, that's a good hug.
They got my thumb, Charlie.
What a scene. What a great fucking scene. The last of the method actors.
Those guys went on to do some terrible movies.
Yes, they did. Till he came back with was it the
Wrestler.
fighter? The wrestler?
The Wrestler.
Yeah.
But he done some terrible movies since,
Yeah,
too.
it took a long time till he got to the wrestler.
Eric Roberts did some karate movies.
Mm-hmm.
He did some terrible karate movies.
There was one like Star 69 or something.
But didn't Eric Roberts do some like movie where he's like a karate champion? Wasn't it like, I remember watching this going, oh my God. There was some karate kumite type movie. What is it? Best of the Best 2. So imagine going from the Pope of Greenwich Village to the Best of the Best 2.
Wayne Newton.
Is there a fight
The
scene?
Newt.
Let me see some karate.
Kill him and his body. Going after him.
He's going after him. Look at this.
Something I didn't walk right in here. Come on.
Now, in a contest where defeat
I am one of 3 people that can teach you to be miraculous.
means certain death,
You won't fight me.
The lat pull downs.
Prepare to die.
they will face the ultimate challenge
Find them. Don't disappoint me.
to prove again that they are the
Oh, he
best
got
of the
beefed up for that.
Forward.
Yeah, man.
Can you?
It's in a karate movie. Look at this. Karate. Hiya. Flying sidekick kicks a guy over a railing.
best of the best.
The best.
The best of the
For
best.
the best.
Two.
Who thought of that title?
Introducing Ralph Muller and
What if we call it the best?
Wayne Newton's in there.
No, we got to go bigger. All right, what about the best of the best?
Look at this. 1993.
Wow.
Roberts, best of the best.
I thought he was a comedian. Never mind. You guys didn't recognize him.
That's
What, there was a
crazy.
comedian in there?
One of the guys that they just showed, I thought he was a comedian, but
Didn't he have a bad accident, Eric Roberts?
I think you're thinking of.
that guy. Or who's that?
Oh, that's Sean Penn's brother.
Oh, okay. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
What's Chris Penn?
Chris Penn.
Right?
Yeah.
He's no longer with us,
No,
right?
he's not.
No, you're thinking of the guy from Lethal Weapon who had a bad motorcycle accident.
No, I think Eric Roberts had an accident too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What the fuck's the guy from Lethal Weapon? The older crazy guy. You know the guy.
He did get in a car accident. Eric Roberts.
Did he?
91.
A bad one?
I think it was like a.
Debilitating, says.
I think he had a rough time after that accident.
But that's
Month-long
2
show.
years afterwards he did this movie.
No.
That was 93.
Okay.
Something happened to his hand, it says. Well,
Karate accident. But no, what the fuck is his name, man? The old dude. Gary Busey.
Oh yeah.
Gary
yeah,
Busey.
Yeah. He had a motorcycle accident.
No helmet.
Yeah.
Hit his head on the
And he
curb.
was a big anti-helmet guy too. He was like an advocate for not wearing helmets. Dude, Eric Roberts' daughter is a huge actress now. Emma Roberts.
Oh, yeah?
That's his daughter. Yeah, she's huge.
People can be huge, and I have no idea who they are today.
Yeah.
I'm so removed. How Eric Roberts went big, crashed hard. Well, he was high on cocaine. Eric had a horrific car accident in 1981. Oh, 81. So it was 93 that he was in that movie. I was in a coma. My speech was very retarded. I had to learn how to walk again. I don't think you're allowed to say that, Eric. In 2018, you could say retarded
Yeah.
still. But he was also on Celebrity Rehab.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a weird one. Because, like, he was rehabbing off of weed. So he's basically just, like, reading a newspaper, hanging out.
Yeah.
Other people are, like, getting the itches, and they're fucking
Yeah.
screaming at each other, fuck you, fuck you. And Eric Roberts is over there drinking coffee. He barely seems like there's anything wrong with him. Like, he shouldn't be in rehab. He's just here for the fucking SAG check. This is ridiculous.
He's addicted to fame.
Remember Stanhope had a bit about how unethical Celebrity Rehab is?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great bit.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great bit because it's so true. What a terrible thing to do to people who are coming off of drugs. Stick a fucking camera in their face.
Yeah, I know.
It's like the worst idea ever. Like
Yeah.
for someone trying to recover.
I mean, there's a reason why it's Alcoholics Anonymous. And the part of the reason why it's anonymous is that you don't want to hold somebody up as a role model for sobriety, because if they then lose their sobriety, it fucks up people that were looking to them. You're supposed to look to yourself and your higher power.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so the last thing you want to do is put celebrities out there to encourage people to get sober, because
Well,
they're the
especially
least stable people.
Watching them deteriorate on the show too. It's
Right.
horrible.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't care what the fuck your check is and what the attention that you're getting. It's not worth it. Like you don't want everybody judging you based on the worst time in your life, coming off of coke. You know,
Yeah.
trying to get your shit together. Penniless. You need to be on this show. You're a famous person and you're not wealthy at all because you need to be on the show. So the show, what does the show pay? How much does it pay? Can't be a lot. It can't be like for the rest of your life money. It might get you by for the year, but now you're stuck with the memory that everybody has about you, like throwing up in a bathtub, coming down off of
Yeah,
opiates.
unless you can really nail it and know you're gonna get sober. There's, America loves a redemption story.
Dennis Rodman didn't. All he did was like run on a treadmill. He was fine.
Yeah,
Because of him, it's like alcohol, like he parties.
right.
So he's just like working out all the time while he's there.
Yeah,
But like that, people were saying horrible, insulting shit to each other, and then they just put that on television. Like,
yeah.
ugh.
Ugh. I could never watch that. There was another show that was called. It was a show where Intervention. You ever see Intervention?
No,
Man,
same
that's
kind of thing?
intense. It was regular people, but like you would call them and you would stage an intervention with somebody, and they would think that the TV crew was following them around about something else.
Oh God!
Until the moment where they walked into the room and their friends and family and therapist was there, and then there'd be an intervention.
What a dirty trap!
It was a dirty trap, but it was a good fucking show, man. It was powerful. Holy shit.
People get obsessed with watching people go off the rails, like hoarders.
Yeah.
People love watching that. They love
Right.
watching people off the rails.
Yeah.
You go into their houses, boxes of newspapers stacked up to the ceiling, cat shit on the floor. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, because they're trying to make people feel better about themselves, and they gotta go pretty low.
Yeah.
Got to
It
shoot
is-
low to go below America.
But it is weird how we become obsessed with people whose lives are falling apart. Like we'll focus on like my 600-pound life or something like that. Like people, they want to go, well, I feel better. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
You know? And you also realize like, if you think about as crazy as you've ever been in your life, like what's the worst you've ever been and how much further could it have gone if you didn't self-correct? If you didn't course correct in your life, would you ever have gotten to the point where you were one of those people that can't get off the couch because you're 600 pounds? Would you be one of those people that gambles away every fucking penny you have no matter what? And then you're in debt and you're terrified and you're like Adam Sandler in Rough Cut Gems or Uncut Gems. Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
Great fucking movie.
Yeah.
And that movie gave me wild anxiety because I was like, I know people like this. I could see this being a real guy. Like, he can't fucking stop. He can't stop. He can't stop gambling.
Yeah.
He's just addicted. It's like, like you imagine that was you. Like, when I see a guy like Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, I imagine I could be that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
With
if I was
what?
him living his life.
With
If I was-
gambling.
with gambling. You're that guy living that. You could see that was so well done and well written. You could see the thrill in like the winning. Like occasionally he would win, and then he would lose. And when he'd lose, he's fucking devastated. But when he'd win, he'd be like, "Fuck yeah, fuck yeah."
Yeah. Norm had that. Norm was a gambler. He lost everything like 3 times. And I'm not speaking out of school. Like it's it was documented. He had a real game. He would gamble on, like my friend wrote on one of his shows, and he would gamble if there was no pro football or basketball or whatever, he would be betting on girls' high school basketball.
Jesus.
Yeah, whatever.
So how does he
actually
do that?
could
Does he
get.
have a bookie?
Yeah,
So he calls this guy up and go, "What do you got for me?"
yeah,
And like girls' high school basketball is like, "Let's go."
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, the thrill of gambling is apparently one of the most difficult to kick. People with gambler problems, Gamblers Anonymous, and I think it's a lot like we were talking about with the football players, is the high. Obviously, it's not comparable, but their high, that's their highest of high, is winning at gambling. And then the thrill of chasing money and the wondering whether or not you're going to succeed, and then losing it, and then dodging the bookies and trying to like go to another casino and
Well,
gather
that's
up
what
a
they say is
stake.
a huge part of it. Is it's actually the losing as much as the winning.
Yeah.
It's the fear of what's going to happen when I lose, and then feeling that panic and that low.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's about the low in
I
a
knew
way.
so many guys that were gambling junkies from my pool hall days. So many guys, like every day, they'd go to off-track betting. They would come to the pool hall and they would gamble. They'd play cards, and if they had a job, it was just to scratch up enough money to gamble with.
Yeah,
All they cared about was gambling.
yeah.
They were just absorbed with it, and it was really interesting.
What kind of gambling?
They would play poker. They would play gin. They would
Shoot pool?
They would shoot pool, but the problem with pool is you have to execute, and a lot of guys didn't like that. Like you had to be able to make a shot, and so it's nerves and controlling yourself. A lot of these guys, like their nerves were shattered, so they were just gambling on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of them were horse bettors. I knew a guy who got barred for life from carriage racing because they caught him standing up while the horse was winning. He was trying to slow the horses down so much he stood up. It was like pulling back on the reins. And they banned him for life. And he was always talking about his name was, we called him George the Greek. That was his name was George. He was a Greek guy. The nicknames for people like very obvious. Like was Ray the Fireman, Mount Vernon Tommy. It's like, where are you from? What's your name? And George the Greek was always talking about William Kunstler. He's my attorney. He's gonna take care of my fucking millions off these cocksuckers. And he was a dirty racer.
Wow.
Like he was corrupt.
Damn.
So he was a part of like
Good guy to know.
fixing rate. No. He was always running some kind of a scam. there was always something going on with one of those guys. They always like, listen, you should invest in this. It's gonna make a lot of money. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me.
There was this guy who was father of my daughter was on a soccer team, and one of the girls' fathers used to come to the games. And he had a brand new red Corvette, and he always had on shiny clothes. And he was a professional gambler, and he would tell me about like, I'm going to Vegas. He plays poker, and he makes money. And every week, I fucking love talking to this guy. He was just so full of life. And then one day he shows up and he's in like a 78 Datsun B210 with fucking the wrong quarter panel on it. And I'm like, bad weekend in Vegas? He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He changed pink slips with somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. It can go off the rails. Those gamblers, they're if you're betting high enough and chasing that dragon of excitement, you're probably going to risk it all.
Yeah.
Imagine the thrill of putting your wife's asleep at home. She doesn't even know you're putting your fucking house on a game of roulette. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was Coming to America was such a fucking great premise. You ever see that movie, that Albert Brooks movie? They leave L.A. It's Albert Brooks, and his wife is the woman from Airplane. Remember the woman who's the star of Airplane? And so they're successful yuppies, and they're making tons of money, and they have a nice house, and they decide to sell everything. They're going to simplify. We're going to buy a mobile home, and we're going to spend the rest of our lives just traveling, living life. So they put all their money into a bank account. They get in the Winnebago. First stop out of L.A. to get to the Grand Canyon is going to be Las Vegas. And so they go down and they play a little bit of blackjack, and she's losing. And then he goes, all right, come on, let's go. And she's like, I can just play one or two more hands. So he goes to bed, and she stays playing, and she's got the bug. She doesn't realize she's got a gambling problem, and she gambles all night, and she loses all their money. The nest, they call it the nest egg.
Oh, I remember that.
The nest egg. You're not allowed to say nest egg. You're not allowed to say egg. You can't say nest. And then he goes to Gary Marshall, who plays the manager of the casino, and he's trying to pitch to him, what if I do a commercial for you guys? And I say, hey, look, you gave the money back to a customer. And it's fucking hilarious. So now that's the first act of the movie, and the rest of the movie is just them broke in America. Oh, this is a great scene.
Play this.
Well, it's just the trailer. It's just the trailer of it.
Yeah.
It just happened to be the same time. It's her losing the money right here.
Albert Brooks was great.
Yeah.
This would be their room.
He played a great, hapless guy who finds himself in terrible circumstances.
Nothing. Well, give or take 1,000. Give or take 1,000.
As the boldest experiment in advertising history, you give us our money back.
We're finished talking.
One of the greatest comedies of all time.
The boldest experiment in advertising history. No, he was great, man.
Yeah. Dude, you know how he got started? He grew up in Beverly Hills. His brother was Super Dave Osborne. And did you know that?
No.
Yeah, his brother's
I think
Super
I
Dave.
did know.
The guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
That's his brother. And he grew up, and his actual name in real life is Albert Einstein, Albert Brooks.
Wow.
And so he grew up, and his best friend growing up in Beverly Hills was Rob Reiner. And so Carl Reiner is on The Tonight Show one night with Johnny Carson, and Carson goes, who do you think is you worked with Mel Brooks, you've been with the greats, who's the funniest person that you know? And he said, my 15-year-old son's friend, Albert Einstein.
Wow.
And so Johnny goes, I want him on the show. So they book him on the show, and he comes on, and he does this bit. I don't know if this was the first bit that he did. It might have been the first bit that he did. He had one of those Simon Says things where you push A and it goes A, B, and he does a comedy routine with the Simon Says.
And he's 15.
Maybe 16. He fucking destroys. And Carson starts bringing him back, and he did Carson 20 times before he was 21 years old.
Wow.
And he would always come on with these conceptual bits, and he just that's how his career started.
I don't think people can even appreciate the impact of being on Carson today.
Right.
I don't think people understand.
There was
that,
3
like,
channels. There was 20 million people watching Carson every night.
And when he liked someone, they would be successful.
Yeah.
Like a comic, like guys like Richard Jeni, who like
Right.
would do the Carson show. Like that's what made him.
Right.
People seeing him do 5 minutes on Carson.
Well, it's not dissimilar from doing the Joe Rogan Experience.
It's different for sure, you know. There's a lot more options
Yeah.
now.
Right.
It's like 5 million podcasts.
Right. Right.
That Tonight Show thing, like, if he didn't like you, you were fucked.
Yeah, it was over. It all came down to that. And if he liked you, I mean, yeah, comedians talked about it. They said that all you had to do was tell a club booker that you did the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and all of a sudden your money went from, $1,500 a week to, $15,000.
Didn't Howard Stern have like a famous feud with him?
With Carson?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They hated each other.
Oh.
That was one of those weird times where if one of those guys crossed you, if you were in a bad situation with one of those guys,
Yeah.
oof. It's
Well,
not that
Joan
many
Rivers.
people.
Remember
Oh,
Joan?
yeah.
Joan Rivers was the guest host for him forever.
Right.
And then Fox gave her own talk show, and he was outraged that she would compete against him, and he never had her back on the show.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And she was a staple of the show. She was like his go-to person. She used to host when he was off.
Shouldn't he be like happy she's getting her own show?
You would
But I
think.
think like the competition then was a real thing. Because we don't think of competition the same way, because with the internet, like all that stuff's been eroded.
Right.
There's so many choices.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want at any time. So if someone's watching you at 11 o'clock, they could watch that another time, or it doesn't matter.
Right.
But back then it mattered. Like you had to be in front of your fucking television at 11 p.m. And that's when the Tonight Show came on. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah.
It only came on at one time, and you had to sit there and watch it then.
Right.
And there was no VCRs, and you got to remember that this guy was on the Tonight Show. And then if you're on the Tonight Show 3 times, 4 times, like, oh, it's Don Rickles again. I love Don Rickles. And you'd see him again. Like, oh, it's Don. And then they became a person that was in the public sphere.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that now. Like that's that. I mean, we don't understand like the access we have to just different content, and there's so many more options
Yeah.
for people to do things now.
Right. Yeah, now it's like everybody's got a publicist because they have to work so many different avenues.
Yeah.
You got to scramble to get on, cable and podcasts and
Yeah. It's constant
blogs.
scrambling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's also like some things rise up and some things get noticed, and you're like, why is that thing getting noticed? Like what?
Yeah.
And some of it's artificial, and that doesn't work. They'll pop up some celebrity and give them a podcast and make a big deal out of it. But after a while, people are like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And they stop listening. There's
Yeah.
just too many options. When you're alone by yourself, all that finagling and, and the promoting things, and it's like, doesn't work. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like, people like what they like.
Right.
When you're alone, you get to choose. Like, what do I want to watch? I want to watch this. That's the real determination of whether or not something's good.
And we don't keep watching. Like the fact that we both stopped watching The Old Man.
Yeah.
Like people didn't used to stop watching. You kept
Yeah.
watching your series.
Yeah, I bail on stuff.
I bail all the time.
Did you see what they did to House of Dragons?
Oh, I bailed on that last week.
House of the Dragon put all new actors in.
That's when I bailed.
I was
exactly.
like, what
Yep.
are you doing?
And the only compelling actor on the show was the daughter.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So stupid.
You could have just made her look older.
Yep.
You fucking idiots.
First of all, she looked like a 25-year-old actress
Right.
playing a 15-year-old actress. It would not have been a stretch.
And she's supposed to look 35, right? In the next one, it's like 10 years later or whatever
Yeah.
it is. That's not hard to do.
No.
You could do that.
Yep.
Why did you do that?
It's crazy.
And they kept some actors. So they kept some, and they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then they just replaced people. And they said, "Oh, but we cast the first people first." And then they always knew the people that got replaced always knew they were going to be replaced.
Yeah.
That's still a terrible idea.
Yeah.
That idea sucks.
And there's not enough dragon. I want to see dragons. I want to see them fighting. I want to see them torching shit up.
They occasionally use the dragons.
Yeah.
It's very occasional. They'll threaten with the dragon a little bit, but nothing happens.
Yeah.
But it's also like this. They had me until they changed actors. And, you know, my wife was like, fuck this. Like, what the fuck did they just do to me? Like, what did they just do? Why did they replace the queen? But they kept the king? They just made the king look older? But you got a whole new queen?
It took me like 5 minutes to realize that what was going on. I was like, who is she? Oh, she's her? No.
Yeah, what?
No.
Why?
Yeah, and the king. I mean, look, who am I to knock anybody's acting? But like, I don't find the king to be very good.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm sure he's a good actor, but maybe he's not right for the part. But I'm not excited about the king.
Yeah, it's not compelling.
No,
but the changing of the actors was a giant clusterfuck of a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, whoever greenlit that, like, where was the adult in the room?
Yeah.
Is there another fucking way here? You've got people committed to these people for hours and hours. They're committed to these particular characters. Now you're asking this, like, you have to just accept that you have new actors.
Yeah.
So now I know it's all bullshit. So now
I mean, when they did it with The Crown, at least they did it from season to season. And I think there was 3 different queens.
I never watched that.
It was good.
Was it?
And I fucking hate the royal family. I mean, first of all, I just can't believe the queen is dead. I feel like it was just yesterday that I couldn't believe she was alive.
Yesterday.
All my queens were but I'm not a fan of the royal family, but that show is really fucking good. Olivia Colman is unbelievable.
I haven't watched it. But, you know, if you're going to do it every season, I guess, as long as I know you're going to do it every season, okay.
Right.
Okay. Suspension of disbelief.
But not mid-season.
Episode 5?
Yeah.
What is it, 6? Whatever it is?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. Why'd you do that? Like, you could have made those people look old. It's not hard to do.
Uh-huh.
It's not impossible. You have people who look like fucking dragons, right? You have White Walkers. You have all this makeup. Put some old people makeup on that young girl. Change her voice a little bit.
Yep.
Fuck are you doing? But the knight is still the same? Mm-hmm. You got the same knight? He looks exactly the same age? Like, what are you doing?
And then they've also got, because of the time, the men are all dressed the same. And they all have black, kind of wavy long hair.
Yeah.
And so you can't tell, is that guy?
Right.
Or is that the other guy? And now all of a sudden you're replacing him? So now I got to make that adjustment?
Right.
Fuck that.
Fuck that. Here's another point. There's another real problem. This is a prequel to Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. There's black people in the prequel.
They're all gone later.
Yeah. So what happened?
Yeah.
There's 0 black people in Game of Thrones? How many black people are in Game of Thrones?
I can't remember any.
But there's quite a few in House of Dragon.
There's a lot.
So what's going on?
Yeah.
You went through how many seasons with no black people in Game of Thrones? And in the prequel, they're in every episode?
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
It's the same island. It's the same island.
They go.
And why do they all have white hair? Right. I don't understand.
Are you going to address this?
Can we just have black people that are giving them white hair? Why did you do that?
Well, there was some black people in Game of Thrones, weren't there? There were certainly the those eunuchs, the slaves, right? There was those guys. Uh-huh. Remember those guys that like fought for her? But they were eunuchs.
Yeah.
And then there was certainly places that people went that had people of color, but they didn't have royal family. Mm-hmm. Like in this movie, it's royal family.
Yeah.
It's like the Targaryens or the Lannisters or whatever. What the fuck, man?
Crazy.
Changing actors mid-show is so bonkers.
Yeah.
It's just such a bonkers idea. And they just said, okay, this is how we're going to handle it.
Yeah.
You just fuck people's heads up.
Yeah. You're trying to hook people into a show, and just as you build the character and get them excited about them. And she was good. I like the young queen.
Right.
Was great.
And also, like, her uncle, the guy who molested her, spoiler alert, he's still around.
Yeah, he's still around.
And he's the same.
Doesn't look any older.
But she's like this totally different lady now.
He's in The Crown. He plays Prince Philip in The Crown. Yeah.
I haven't watched the Lord of the Rings thing on Amazon, but I heard it's a fucking disaster.
Oh, is it?
I heard
It's the most expensive TV show ever made.
Fucking disaster.
Do you know how
all
much
here.
they spent on it?
How much?
$800 million.
Oh!
Right, Jamie? Can you look that up? I think it was $800 million for like 7
What?
episodes.
What?
Or $700 million for 8 episodes. Something crazy.
And I heard that the people that did it have never run a show before.
Oh no shit!
First time showrunners.
This is 465.
$465 million.
This was last year, though. Hold on.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah,
For a show that
I see now
failed.
715 to date. So they might have spent more over since the last year.
Yeah.
715 to date.
Damn.
How's that doing? What are the reviews? What's like Rotten Tomatoes on the new Lord? I know Elon Musk talks shit about it. A lot of people are very upset.
84% Rotten Tomato.
Oh, dorks, liars,
6.9 IMDb.
Russian troll farms.
I'll check
6.9
it out.
IMDb. That's actually pretty good.
I didn't watch any of the movies. Did you watch the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yes, loved them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're good. Well, I was a big fan of the books when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The books are incredible. I mean, the guy wrote a language. He wrote a fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, he wrote a whole language to go with the whole story.
Right.
Like the Gollum and the ring and that whole story. And like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It
Yeah.
just so speaks to human nature. This poor creature just captivated by this object.
Yeah.
Be precious.
I remember being 14 and being like, wow, transported to another place. Like, that was when reading was intense. Do you remember that, laying in your bed at night reading Lord of the Rings or
Yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe or one of those books, and you just get sucked in?
For me, it was Stephen King books.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was like my favorite when I was a kid. Whenever I get a hold of a Stephen King book.
Those were thick, too. Those
Oh,
are long-ass
yeah.
books.
That motherfucker could write his ass off.
Yeah.
He was so prolific, too.
Yeah.
This is a breakdown of the budget here. Average of $89 million per episode. In comparison, the whole first season or a season of Game of Thrones cost about $100 million. $15 million in the last per show in the last 2 seasons. To make
Yeah, you
one
might
of
want
those.
to check someone's bank account.
But
Yeah.
they paid
Might wanna-
$250 million just to get it.
Wow, just to secure the digital rights.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe it's good.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing it's a disaster.
And is that HBO? Oh, no. It's
Amazon.
Amazon. Huh.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Oh, we got to give it a shot. Shit, if they're going to spend that much money, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll give you one.
Yeah. Like that Gray Man movie. I think that movie was a couple $100 million. How much was the Gray Man for Netflix? I think it was the most money they ever spent on a film.
$100 million?
I think it's more.
Wait, and then the thing is with...
200 million? Yes. Yeah.
Whoa.
For a Netflix movie.
$200 million.
Yeah. For a Netflix movie.
And that doesn't include, like, marketing and all that shit.
Yeah, they did a one release in the theater.
Shit.
That's a lot of movie.
They put it out for a week just so they could win an Oscar. That's why they put it out.
Is that why they do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good
It
luck.
only has to play, like, for 1 week.
The movie is it's fun, but the book is way more brutal. Way more brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's hard to do something like that and turn it into a movie where you actually like the hero. He's murdering people.
Right.
He's the best at killing people.
Yeah.
It's like that's, they pulled it off with John Wick, but that's generally hard to pull off.
Yeah.
Like John Wick is a hitman that everybody loves.
Iceman Cometh. See that?
No. Is that the docu-series? Is
Is
that on the Iceman, the Kuklinski?
The Iceman, yeah.
Yeah, that guy was terrifying.
Yeah. But it is weird how you're kind of pulling for him. Because he's got a wife and he's like really sweet to his daughter. And then he goes off in his car at night and he just fucking kills people.
Yeah, he killed people for the mob. He killed people for...
Well, the thing is with him is he
fun.
killed for different mob families. He was a hired gun for the Gambinos and the... what was the other one? I can't name all the crime families in New York, but he worked for different crime families against each other. He was a freelance guy.
Joey Diaz gave me a book once on, it's called Murder Machine, about Roy DeMeo. Roy DeMeo was, he was a hitman who became a serial killer. who's basically a sociopath, and they are just a total psychopath. And they had like a room upstairs above this social club, and they would take guys to the room upstairs and just chop them up in the bathtub, and they would kill people like constantly. It was killing like 100 people.
100 people he
Oh
killed?
yeah, who knows how many he killed?
Jesus.
Killed so many people.
Whoa.
And the book is terrifying. The book's called Murder Machine. But it's all about that guy. See if you like find Roy DeMeo, the story of Roy DeMeo.
Well, imagine if you're an organized crime family and you find a guy who's a serial killer. He enjoys doing it.
Yeah, first-rate story of a mafia murder crew so deadly that even John Gotti turned aside a contract on its leader. New York Daily News reports Mustaine and Capecci, co-authors Mobstar in 1989, tell a fascinating and repellently detailed story of Roy DeMeo and the gang he raised from teenagers in Carnegie, a Brooklyn neighborhood where death by natural causes is 6 bullets in the head, according to one cop. The middle-class DeMeo, a natural criminal, was carrying cash in brown paper bags and driving a Cadillac by his high school senior year. After establishing Lone's trucking headquarters in his Gemini Lounge in Brooklyn, he shipped scores of stolen luxury cars to Kuwait, distributed drugs. One of his crew was the chief supplier of cocaine at Studio 54.
Oh, that's a good
And
gig.
wholesale child pornography.
Damn.
When the inevitable business disputes arose, his crew simply made the other parties disappear. The victims were lured into a clubhouse behind the Gemini Lounge before they were shot and dismembered. It's just like taking apart a deer, it says, and then secured in hefty bags and tossed on the Carnegie dump. One murder led so easily to another that soon the Gemini method was used on anybody who got in the gang's way or annoyed them. DeMeo presented 3 of his coke-crazed crew with a set of custom carving knives, which they kept in their car trunks in case a quick assignment arose. With a special NYPD FBI task force cracked the DeMeo gang, it tagged the criminals for 75 murders. DeMeo, who was rubbed out by fellow mobsters as the cops closed in, bragged of 100 personally, making him far more destructive than any known U.S. serial killer.
Wow.
It's a scary-ass book.
Damn. You read that?
Yeah. Joe
That
gave
would
it to
freak me
You
out.
gotta read this cocksucker. Yeah.
Find out about the dark side.
Yeah, man. Well, I remember when you lived in Little Italy, when I went to visit you.
Right.
You had an apartment in Little Italy right down the street from the social club
Next door.
while everything was going on.
Yeah, I was on Mulberry Street between Prince and Spring, and the Ravenite Social Club, which was Gotti's headquarters, was downstairs and one apartment over from me. And they used to go, Wednesday night was the night when they all met. And so all these limos would start pulling up along the street. They would double park all the way down Mulberry Street, and they would go inside. And the way originally they got a wiretap inside the club at some point. I don't know how they got it in, but that's how they took down Gotti. But then Gotti found out about the wiretaps, so they started walking down Mulberry Street. They'd walk up and down, and they'd have their business conversations. So the FBI parked cars there ahead of Wednesday night, and they put microphones in the hubcaps of the cars. So as they walked by, they would pick up the snippets of conversation.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that was your neighborhood.
I was downstairs.
What is it like sleeping knowing that shit was right next door?
Dude, the people that we rented our apartment from their name were Tony and Gladys. I'm not going to say their last name. And they were like in their 70s, and their son Gregory, who was in construction, just bought them a condo around the corner. And so they had this beautiful condo around the corner, and this was a 6th-floor walk-up apartment that I sublet from them. And it was me and George McDonald, and we paid $1,000 a month for, it was a 1-bedroom, and they had illegally knocked a door down into a studio apartment next door. So we paid $1,000 for that. And I would pay them the first of the month. I'd go over to their condo, and they would make espressos, and they had cannolis, and we'd sit down. You always had to sit down with them, and I'd give them $800. And then when Tony would go in the next room, I would give her another $200 cash because that was her bingo money. And Tony don't need to know about that.
So Tony thought he was getting 8.
Yes, he thought he was getting 8. And so We got broken into one time. Somebody came in through the roof and this meant when I was doing stand-up in New York, so I had a lot of cash because you run around doing cash spots every night. So I had like $1,000, which at the time was a fucking lot of money. I had $1,000 sitting on my desk, and it got stolen and some other shit. And I told Tony and Gladys what happened, and they go, "We're going to talk to some people about that. We're going to find out who did it because we know people. You know who I know. I'm not saying who I know, but you know who I know, and we're going to tell some people about it. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it."
So what happened?
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
I don't know how much he really knew Gotti, but I'm sure he did.
Probably knew him a little, but
Yeah,
imagine talking about that.
Yeah.
Mr. Gotti, I need to
Right.
talk to you about something.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's the
there it
Raven Night
is.
Social Club right there.
Yeah.
Look how they used to dress on purpose.
That's my apartment.
Look like
See that?
Popeye.
Dude,
John
I
Gotti,
walked
looks like
up and
Popeye.
down 6 fucking floors every day.
That's got to be good for you. How'd you carry your couch up there?
It was all furnished. It was all their stuff. It all had plastic on the couch, and fucking there was shell casings in one of the end tables.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What is that neighborhood like now? Is it still an Italian neighborhood?
It's all super expensive boutique shops. You know, the kind of places where you walk in and they sell like 6 pairs of jeans and 3 belts for like $1,000 each, and like great little restaurants that have like 5 tables in them.
They still have those kind of places there?
Well, that tenement's still there. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe it was only 5 stories. I thought it was 6.
All right, Gregory. Let's wrap this up. Let's bring it home. People want to see Gregory on the road.
I'm going to be coming to you New Orleans next weekend and Lafayette, Louisiana, and then I will be in Chicago at the Den Theater October 15th.
Is it GregFitzsimmons.com?
GregFitzsimmons.com. Also Punchline in San Francisco, Tampa, Side Splitters,
So glad
Hyenas in
Punchline's
Dallas.
still around in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Same spot. Remember, we almost lost that spot.
I know. It got Burr and Chappelle and a bunch of people all flew up there and did shows and kind of bailed them out.
Yeah, amazing.
But, and then the podcast is Fitz Dog Radio.
There it is,
And then
tour
I
dates.
do Sunday Papers on Sundays with Mike Gibbons. We cover the news every week. And Childish with Allison Rosen.
Oh, you're going to be out here in Dallas at Hyenas in December.
Hyenas, Fort Worth, yeah.
I heard that place is the shit.
It's great. I did it once
I've
before.
never done it. I heard it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's kind of got an indie feel.
Greg, you're the man. I love you.
Love you too, man.
Always good
Thanks
to
for
hang.
having me on.
My pleasure. All right. Bye, everybody.